Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all four sides up immediately than having to go around from side to side to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. And find out why the concept is true. To stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This is Finish Line.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.
This is Finish Line. Undisputed, unrealistic, unscripted, and unrehearsed. This is Finish Line, a weekly podcast talking about the positive and negative of motorsports, asking the questions to drivers, promoters, and personalities, getting the information and responses of the sport others dare not to ask or even discuss. This is Finish Line. This radio podcast is from the heart, an in-depth analysis of everything in NASCAR, NHRA, IHRA, IndyCar, grassroots motorsports, asphalt, dirt, drag racing, karting, tractor pulling, boat racing, demolition derbies, and much more. From touring events to national, regional, weekly, and more. This is the podcast where the bull stops here. Whether it's asphalt, dirt, or drag racing, or anything else in life, there is always a finish line. Now, he's a respected veteran broadcaster with over 20-plus years experience calling all forms of sports for public address, TV, and radio. From NASCAR to the grassroots. Please welcome your host, Wesley Outland. This is Finish Line.
Good morning. Welcome to the November 3rd edition. Hey, you made it into the month of November. And this is a lot to talk about here as we're ready to go. I'm your host, Wesley Outland. We've got 7 awesome guests that are ready to go on the hot seat and talk about of motorsports. Hey, the Final Four is set for NASCAR. Of course,
Kyle Larson, Jason Elliott, the fifth year. And then, of course, Denny Hamlin and the drivers of NASCAR will battle it out for this championship. 4 drivers ready to go. Also, if you count Martin Truex, your 4, the finale is set for Phoenix this weekend in NASCAR Championship weekend. We look forward to covering that. We'll have a little sample, if you will, but there's so much going on in the world of motorsports. A successful World Short Track Championship, a successful All-American 400, probably the 2 biggest events going on throughout the, of course, Brandon Overton also winning the National 100, and all the while, we got them set. 7 awesome guests in the box, ready to go for the November 3rd edition of Finish Line. Fox Sports Radio, affiliates across the Carolinas. Of course, from Fayetteville to Rocky Mount, down 95 in between. We also are connected to the Community Radio Network and iHeartRadio Sports, and it's all also on video thanks to LSRTV Productions. Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wood behind the scenes. This is video episode number 4, a month of seeing my ugly. It's all about the drivers. It's all about the guests, the people that are on the program, and we hope that you've been enjoying the program as we've done this for, 1 month now. So thanks again for making this happen. We took it to another level. I got to put a little makeup on, a little foundation, a little time or two. I forgot to shave this morning, so please don't sue me. But with that being said, we are ready to cue up that music. 7 awesome guests, Finish Line. It's going to one here today, November 3rd edition. And by the way, as always, use the hashtag Finish Line. We're going to go right out of the gate and talk to the 2021 All-American 400 champion, the winner of the guitar, of course, out of Concord, North Carolina, in the Hampton race. Car number 50 is Mr. Matthew Craig. Matthew Craig will be our first guest. Then we stay with the winners of the All-American 400 in hour number 1. And that's the Pro Late Model winner in the Rackley Ward DGR Crosley entry, number 26, Cole Williams. The Pro Late Model Jake Series All-Stars Tour is going to be joining us here, winning at the All-American 400. We're not done. The Force Compact Touring Series in Redmond have done a phenomenal job with that program, and Tom Gosser was the winner of their finale, and that is going to be our 3rd guest of the night. We talk about the big prestigious modified race across the country, over 30 modifieds from the northeast to the southeast to the midwest. Way Speedway beginning on Thursday, tomorrow, for the 19th annual North-South Shootout, and that is with the promoter of Darren Hackett. That's just how we go into hour number 2. Dylan Brown, winner of the big event last week at the World Short Track Championship at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He will be joining us to talk about his success that's not only happened this past Saturday night, of course, in the big race at Charlotte, but his other times this year, winning races at the dirt track at Charlotte this season in 2021. John Ruggiero Jr., not only, he's also a real dirt late model racer, and he was the 602 winner of the World Short Track Championship, as now that dirt car prepares for the World of Outlaw World Finals this weekend. And to close out Charlotte's segment, my good announcement colleague and Performance Racing Network, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and PRN's at the track, Lenny Baticki will be our final guest. Matt Craig, Cole Williams, Tom Gosser, Darren Hackett, Dylan Brown, John Ruggiero Jr., and Lenny Baticki. What a guest lineup for the November of Finish Line. We hope you enjoy it. Let's go quickly to the line and get things kicked off. I said we weren't going to waste no time, and we're going to talk first to the 2021 All-American 400 champion, winner to kiss the guitar. No, wait a minute. That's kissing the cow at the Chittenden Milk Bowl. He gets the guitar. He gets to string it. Matthew Craig, welcome to Finish Line. Good morning to you, my friend.
Hey, good morning.
Big win Sunday All-American 400. Man, give us a recap of how crazy that was. It was a very uh, long one-day show, finding the weather on previously Friday and Saturday, couple of rounds of practice, but then things went downhill from there. Everything was announced as a one-day show, but I got to say the props to Track Enterprises and all the sanctioning bodies and the Nashville officials did a great job.
Yeah, everybody did a great job getting it all in one day. I know they had a tight schedule with having to be wrapped up by 7 o'clock and that night. But yeah, it was a crazy day, short practice, qualifying race. But luckily, we unloaded really well. Our car was really fast right off the truck, so we were able to just do a couple of small changes and get ready for qualifying. And then the race, our car was actually really good on the long run. With the short practice, we didn't know what we were going to have.
It definitely has to make things a rush, if you will, Matthew. Moving everything into one solid day of racing. Do you like that? Do you think that's something that might need to be considered to work on being on the road for 3-4 days of racing for these big events? Or do you think, like, man, we at least need a 3-day weekend to prepare for an event of this caliber? And in the end, you want it.
Yeah. I think, one day is pretty fast paced, not really a lot of practice, especially for guys that's like maybe they want to come run the race and never been there before. They need those couple of days to get prepared. But I think definitely 2 days is enough, to get everybody in a lot of practice and get the show done. 3 days seems a bit much to me, and then one day is a little too short. So I think 2 days is the sweet spot.
We're talking to Matthew Craig, and you're watching him on our video monitor. He picked up the win in the 37th edition of the All-American 400. Matthew, that was cool, man. You had the American Badass Kid Rock there jamming during pre-race, and there were so many cool things. The guitar, can you carry a tune? Have you been able to play that guitar yet since you won the event
Mm,
Sunday?
No, I haven't. I don't know anything about guitars or playing the guitar, but I had a guy here at work. I brought it in to show everybody, and he knew how to play. He said it sounded pretty good, so maybe I'll have to learn how
There
to
you
play.
go. Got to take some guitar lessons now for
Yeah.
sure. Winning this event, what does it mean to Matt Craig and your father and Hamke Race Cars? And it's got to have been a special moment Sunday night.
Oh yeah, it definitely was very special for us to win. My dad, they made a couple of tries at it back in the early 2000s. Almost before I was born, they come to that race to give it a shot, and never really had much success. And I know, my whole family, with the long racing history we have, winning a race like All American 400 is just so much. It just feels like everything's paid off for them. All these years of hard work and racing, and everything's just paid off, and it really felt really good.
Again, we're talking to the 37th annual winner of the All-American 400 out of Kannapolis, North Carolina, just out to Concord in Race City, USA, is of course Matthew Craig. And Matthew, the emotion. Listen, you've had some success in years past, but I think it's suffice to say you've had kind of like a roller coaster ride. You've had highs of highs, lows of lows. You've been involved with controversial before with your dad and Bubba Pollard at Hickory and the Cars Tour events. And I think of other things that you've overcome, winning championships. Do you feel like you're at a level now going into the Snowball Derby that you think you could win, can get this Tom Dawson Trophy? I know that's a big one. Everybody wants to win in late model racing on pavement.
Oh yeah, everybody, that race is, a lot harder to win than even the All American. All Americans, no easy thing to win, but the Derby is a whole nother level above. So we're going to be on our A game. We got a lot more confidence now. After winning the All-American, and all these years of the different things like you mentioned just give us more and more experience, and hopefully we have enough under our belt now that we can make a pretty good charge at it this year.
Again, we are talking with Matthew Craig, and he is the big winner of the All-American 400 at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. That event was condensed to a one-day show due to weather. Matthew, the car, let's just go back and recap the weekend. The car seemed like it looked really, really strong, but the All-American 400 is just like the Oxford 250 or the Winchester 400 or even the Snowball Derby coming up in December. You got to pace yourself. You can't just go out there and run wide the hell open. Talk about just you and your dad and Jeff and the team and what it took to be patient until it was time to go and get that checkered flag.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 300 laps is such a long race for us. We're only used to 120 or 125, 150 is what we mainly do, but 300 is, like another game. And, this weekend we only had 6 tires in the pits for 300 laps. So, you had to really save those tires and not lean on them too hard, as hard as, just enough to stay and keep the track position you had. And, we had a little bit of luck with one of the better cars, Chandler. He had a mechanical failure of some sort and fell off, and that helped us out a whole lot. But we still had a few guys that we had to race really hard at the end, and thankfully we had enough, tire and speed left in the car to be able to get it done.
Again, Matthew Craig is joining us in just a few moments. We will talk to Cole Williams as well. We are doing social media posts as we speak, too. You can follow Matthew Craig Racing on Facebook and, of course, at Matthew Craig 54 on Twitter, too. So all of the social media handles he does, and that's good, man. The social presence is definitely a good thing to have. Of course, you can follow us at #FinishLine at LSRTV, and, of course, for all of the coverage. We appreciate you for joining us. And the replays of all of our shows are up as soon as we go off the air. Matthew, a couple more questions, bud. And I see you're in your shop. I mean, you're a 9-to-5-er. You got a job just like anybody else does, man. I mean, it's living the dream on the weekend and then back to the grind on Monday.
Yep, I'm here in my office here in Charlotte. Yep, we get back to work. I did take Monday off. Didn't work on Monday, but I was back here yesterday on Tuesday. Yep, we work Monday through Friday most of the time.
What would you say, things basically in years past, the All-American 400. In years past, the All-American 400 has been one of those events where basically, you run 400 laps. And I know in years past, they also dropped it down to a 300-lap race. The tires, the grueling of the 400 laps, do you think that attributed to the powers that be saying, okay, we're going to go back to the 300 laps for super late models, 100 laps for the pro late models? Because I remember they used to do a couple of years where it was a 400 lap race. Are you happy that they won it that way on Sunday? Did it feel like a true All-American 400? Because normally it's a 400 lap grind, even though it was a 300 lap race that you won. Does that kind of take it away a little bit because it wasn't a 400 lap race on Sunday for you?
I was thinking about that, mainly to myself. But yeah, I do. I wish it was 400 laps, before the race. But, at lap 300, we were in the right spot. So for this time, 300 was good for us. But, 400, it's called the All-American 400. It was 400 laps for a long time, I think, in its history. So definitely would have liked it to have been 400, I think. It would have, that extra 100 laps, that's just that much more endurance and how much your car can hold up and you yourself can hold up for that long. it definitely makes it just a little bit more special. But, with it being 300, I think it's still, still feels good. I'm still happy about it. So hopefully, they'll bring it back to 400 though.
And of course, that attributes to because of obviously the tire apocalypse going on in pavement racing and just like in dirt and doing the best they can to try to, this race be affordable and not charge a big cost for everyone in the events as well. With one more question with Matthew Craig. Matthew, we'll let you go. The Pro Late Model winner of the All-American 400, Cole Williams, is on standby, and he is next to go in the hot seat. And, man, I think my final question for you is, what do you take from Nashville to prepare for the Snowball Derby? Because I know that's coming up here in about the next, 50 days or so. Less than that.
Yeah.
Less than 50 days. 35 days, if that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, at Nashville, I think a lot of things that you need at Nashville. You need your car not to get loose on you, getting in the corners and getting off the corners. That's kind of Nashville and Pensacola. You struggle with that the most. And if your car works good at Nashville, I think it'll work good at Pensacola too. And the setups are kind of similar. And we'll take the confidence and momentum for sure down to Pensacola. And that whole week is just a long week, and the track changes so much, and the tires throw you for curveballs sometimes. So we're going to just prepare and try to be on our A game and have our mindset right getting down there.
Well, listen, Matthew, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on Finish Line. Before we do let you go, I do want you to thank your sponsors.
Yeah, I just got to thank, our family business, CNC Boiler, Hamke Race Cars, Racing Radios. They do a lot for us. SRI Performance, Robbie White Racing Engines, and I think that's about all of them.
A big win for Hamke Race Cars as well, for your dad, Jeff, and yourself. Matthew, thanks for being on Finish Line, bud. Congratulations to you. Enjoy that moment and get some guitar lessons, man. Come on, we play some guitar. Get you at the clubs sometime down in the Music City, or, of course, in Race City, USA as well.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
That's Matthew Craig, and of course, the winner of the 37th All-American 400, joining us on Finish Line to get things kicked off. And again, we go right back to the lines and get on our next guest. Of course, Matthew Craig. We go to Matthew Craig, to the Pro Late Model winner of the 37th All-American 400. And of course, that is the driver for War Rackley and you think of Willie Allen, you think of DGR Crosley, all that they've done as well. And Cole Williams is joining us. Cole got a chance to get a guitar as well. 100 laps, that's a grueling event in Pro Late Models of those great pavement engines. Cole, welcome to Finish Line. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. We heard the excitement, the jubilation of Matthew Craig. Give us your take of what was a long, condensed one-day show in the 37th All-American 400. I think you had to fight close to 40 Pro Late Models to win the race. It looked like it was quite interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with us fighting curfew more than anything. I think we started to drop the green flag with only 40 minutes left before curfew was coming. So it was definitely a time crunch for 100 laps, trying to get it done in time. So we knew we had to give it everything we got, and there really wasn't much time to kind of ride. So we just knew we had to rely on the car and get there and be there at the end, and we come out on top.
The time curfew, and I think that's new to me because, I've been to the All-American and the Nashville for a couple of years. I missed it this year, obviously, due to some other obligations. But, that's a time crunch. Is that something that's new, Cole, that's just recently popped in? I mean, or have they always had that curfew? And what time was the curfew, if you don't mind me asking? Was it midnight? Was it 11 o'clock? Was it 10 o'clock because it's a Sunday night? What was the curfew?
Yeah, so the curfew is actually 7 o'clock, which we've always kind of always had a curfew. Yeah. So we've always had a curfew, like for Saturday races. Usually it's about 10. I think it's actually 9 o'clock. Sometimes they can get extended to 10. But with Sunday All-American, it's usually just the Pro Late Models and the Supers. So usually you're not fighting that curfew. It's usually done pretty early. But having 4 divisions with all the rain and stuff like that and the makeups, extended the program with more than 2 events, and it came down to the line to get the races in. We ended up, I think, at the end of it, I asked one of the officials, and Chris Prater, which is one of the cops there, and we're good friends with him. I think he said we were 5 minutes over by the end of it.
And, that's amazing because obviously when you got like less than, that's a grueling Sunday of racing. I mean, I saw the schedule where they announced it because of the weather. It rained. I mean, there were several times that you guys were getting your cars on the racetrack, and I saw some coverage, great coverage by Speed 51 TV covering the event. And there would be rain delays, and then it looked like it was clearing, and it'd start back up again. You're just, what's that mindset like of it, like NASCAR guys, if you will? You're in the cars,
Yeah.
you're raining, you got to get out of the cars, you got to get the jet dryers out there, you're under delay, you got to wait for the track to dry, then you get back on the track, you might get a couple of laps in, then it rains again. I mean, that's got to be not only pesky and aggravating. Come on, Mother Nature, damn it, work with us. But also, it's a mindset of dude, we just want to get out here and race. We want to get this done, which luckily it was beautiful on Sunday.
Yeah, it was, and man, it was so aggravating. Usually, if you wanted the rain, at least pour, but the rain we were having, it was just misting. It was just enough to keep the track wet, and anytime we would dry the track, it would start raining again. So it was definitely aggravating. It was a different All-American than I'm used to going to. We usually get some kind of laps on the track before race day, and for me, it was a little bit different situation. I was a little bit more okay with not getting much practice just because we got the test Tuesday before the whole event happened, but having a bunch of laps there kind of helps too. But there was a lot of guys there that were new. It's never seen the facility, so they only have, I think it was 30, 40 minutes of practice to kind of get your car dialed in and be ready for the races. Was a short amount of time to try to figure the place out, so it made it a little bit more interesting on a Sunday.
We are talking to Cole Williams, and of course, man, that's a big win for you. I know you've done some NASCAR stuff, you've done some ARCA stuff with Rackley War, Willie Allen, and we've had obviously Brittany Zamora on. She's rode for him. We've had Willie Allen on Finish Line. As a matter of fact, a lot of people might not remember, but the SRX finale that was at Nashville, he won the big pro late model event. What can you say that Rackley War and DGR Crosley has done for you in your career? With what I would say Sunday night was the biggest win of your career in short track racing at the All-American 400?
Oh, it's definitely up there. I say I put it right there next to the Master of the Pros, and then the big win that
There
we
you
had
go.
at the short track showdown where we had it at Bristol Motor Speedway, and then also the win at Irwindale last year with the 10,000 to win at the All-Star Showdown at Irwindale. So there's a few of them that's right there with each other. That's pretty memorable to me. But yeah, Rackley War, Willie Allen, Curtis Sutton, the whole Rackley War bunch has been awesome to work with. Great team, very professional. They bring great equipment to every race. Of course, they get the truck program and the late model, and they're working really closely with the GMS and whatnot. So their program's really good. So I knew he was going to have really good cars. Willie's awesome to work with. I love working with him, and just all the experience and knowledge that he has definitely helped improve me as a driver. And then, of course, Crosley coming on board halfway through the season, it's been a huge help to me. We was kind of questioning if we was going to have the budget to be able to finish out the full year halfway through. After we lost Cardinal last year, with him retiring and whatnot, they were with us forever and a great sponsor. So I was without a primary sponsor. Of course, Bordeaux Metals has been a huge supporter of mine, and they've been with us for quite a few years now. They've been awesome to work with too. So they've kind of helped us through the way. But Crosley coming on board just kind of topped it off and secured the ability to be able to finish out the year, and now have the opportunity to go run the Snowflake this year.
And I was going to say that as well, as we have again the driver of Cole Williams on, and a big win for him and Willie Allen. And you think of all the drivers that are a part of it. You think of DGR Crosley. You got two great racing programs, and what they do in short track racing is phenomenal. And that has to give you that confidence And I don't even have to ask the question now because you literally just answered it. We're going after the Snowflake 100. I know it's not the Tom Dawson Trophy and the Snowball Derby, but I got a feeling Cole Williams, that's coming in the future for sure.
It's definitely the goal. We go to the win races, and I love Pensacola. I've only got to go there a few times in my career and love going there. Very fast racetrack. But yeah, this will be my second start in the Snowflake. Hopefully, it's really good results. Rackley Ward's been really good there, and they've always brought really good cars there. So hopefully, we're up there competing for the win.
Cole Williams again joining us. You can follow him at Cole Williams on social media, as I am doing right now, sharing all of his information on social media at Cole Williams, of course, at Rackley War, and DGR Crosley also on social media. And while you're doing that, put in at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway to keep up with also the drivers like Matthew Craig and Cole Williams. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm totally disrespecting Cole Williams. I'm multitasking and taking care of my buddy on social media in the process as well. And while you're doing that, that's one of the things you got to do, man, for sure. And that's a big thing. Cole, the condensed schedule, was that the decision made to want to run all? I think he had 39 pro late models. It was close to 40 cars. I know that much. He had more pro late models than super late models. What made the decision to start everybody like a NASCAR Cup race on Nashville at the same time? And was there any kind of worry there? Like, oh my goodness, 40-something cars coming to the green. They're going to have a big wreck like Talladega in the first turn. Thank goodness that didn't happen, though.
Yeah, for sure. Having that many cars, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, Nashville, we've had races where they go green straight through, and then other races, there's even less cars there, and we can't even get a lap in. So you don't know what kind of race you're going into until the green flag drops. But yeah, some of it was because of the curfew. I know they were talking about doing maybe a last chance, or they call it the showdown race on Saturday night with the Pro 8 models. I don't know how many cars they were going to start on that, but we never had to find out because they ended up just starting all of them in the 100 lapper. So it was a good race. I don't think we had a true caution until about 40 to go or something like that. So I mean, we got a lot of green flag laps in.
60. Yeah, it looked like it was a good 60-lap green flag run before the Banana Republic flag got displayed to the field, and I think that might have been actually a controlled caution, if you will. So everybody played nice. And Nashville's one of those races, obviously, Cole, you'd agree with me, where literally it could be a wreck fest, and it could be everybody just kind of being patient, staying in line, and then wait those last 20 laps to go. Obviously, we talked with Matt a moment ago, in super late model racing, you're wide the hell open. You got to kind of pace yourself. We always use the expression the chip in the words of pro late models, because when you dive off into the corner, you hear that and that keeps the engine from blowing. And that also the rev limiter, the chip, is what I'm referring to. And you can give us more elaboration on that, Cole. It makes it where everybody's bunched up and the racing's more competitive. And what is it like racing wide the hell open in a super and then racing with the chip like you had to do to win on Sunday?
Oh, for sure. And the super late models, they'll be on the chip too, just depending on what engine package, and because they do have RPM rules, but it's all the ignition box that you have in the car. Our Pro late models, we have a 6,400 RPM rule, and actually some of them are other on 65, just depending on the engine package you run, of course. So that's the reason why you're on the chip. You're gearing the car towards long runs for races. So you're on the chip early in the race and hoping by the end of it you're barely onto it, just to try to get the maximum amount of pull on acceleration off the corner. So that's kind of why you see us hitting them so hard, which I say that Saturday, I don't think I was ever off the chip. Yeah. We hit the chip basically the whole race. It was 100% as hard as you could go because we didn't know if we was going to get the full 100 in. So yeah, I always say the Pro Late model is kind of like super speedway racing. It's a lot of momentum built up. You really got to just be smooth on the wheel, try to get as much roll speed as you can. Really, you don't want to be pinching it off too much or bogging the car down. Compared to like a super late model, you have a little bit more horsepower to make up for a mistake here and there. If you slip a little bit, you can kind of make up for that. So that's kind of the difference there, and where I really see between both cars.
Well, listen, Cole, our time's grown short, man. It seems like as soon as we get you on the air, the interview flies by. And final question, Bud, what's your plans for the rest of the year? Obviously, I know you said you're going after the Snowflake. Or are we going to see you at any more races before then, or is it pretty much kind of taking time off the next couple of 30 days before the run for the Derby at Pensacola?
Yeah, so basically we are going to test. We got a test planned hopefully mid-November to get ready for the snowball and snowflake. But no, the snowflake's the only race left on the schedule, so we're kind of sitting calm and focused on just that race and get ready for it. And I got a wedding coming up too, so I got a lot going on just in December. So that race, so we gotta narrow it down to one. So.
I was going to say, Cole, if you still have a niche for racing, you race car drivers always do in denial. There is the pro late model race at there's a pro late model race. I think it's called the Pro Late Model Series at the North-South Shootout. Darren Hackett's going to be with us here in a little bit to talk about that. And then you've also got the Misha Sell Memorial that's paying really good money that was rescheduled from this past Saturday to November the 13th at Caraway Speedway.
Yeah, for sure. I tell people all the time it's racing.
You got Hickory too. I forgot about Hickory. My buddy Keith Graham, Carolina Pro Late Model Series, just texted me and he said, "Yeah, man, plug Hickory." So yeah, take your pick. Come on, man.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I say in racing, you never know. I mean, I had a schedule. You can get a schedule change at any moment. If a sponsor comes on or someone wants you to get in the car, I could be racing this weekend. So right now, the set plan is the run the Snowflake, but you never know. Something can change from now until then.
There you go, brother. Well, listen, congratulations to you, Cole Williams. Like I asked Matthew, final question. You can thank your sponsors as well. You played that guitar yet? Are you good on the guitar? Take any lessons?
Oh, I can't play a lick of a guitar, but I've strummed it a few times just to hear it. It sounds like, with my guitar knowledge, it sounds like it's a little bit more in tune than a lot of the other ones. But no, I love that thing, and I can't thank Crosley Brands, Bordeaux Metals, Rackley Roofing, everyone at Rackley War, of course, Mom and Dad for all their support, and then of the good Lord above. Without all of them, none of this would be possible, and I'm thankful to be where I'm at and be able to do what I love.
For sure, bud. Hey, man, congratulations to you, and thanks for joining us here on Finish Line. Hopefully we'll have you back on again, and good luck at the Snowflake 100. I look forward to seeing you down at Pensacola.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Rackley Ward, DGR Crosley, driver to the number 26, winner of the Pro Late Model portion of the Jeg Series All-Stars at the All-American 400. Of course, that is Cole Williams on Finish Line. We're not done talking about Nashville. Let's get now Tom Gosser on the line. We're going to talk some Vors Compact Touring Series races. And this is a guy that I've known for a couple of years now, doing work on MAP TV for Speed 51 and Short Track America, covering the Vors Compact Touring Series. Steve Vore, Dan Redmond, Corey Hensley, all the great people on the staff. Always great seeing y'all. And, man, Tom, you get a guitar at the All-American, dude. How cool is that in a hatchback car to do that?
Heck yeah, man. It's definitely cool. It's a trophy we all want to win.
For sure. You know what? As we get ready to throw it to you and give your recap of the weekend, hey, you guys had to fight the weather just like everybody else. I mean, you were expecting to race on a Saturday night, and instead you ended up running in the daytime on a Sunday afternoon. What is that like for those hatchback cars, those front-wheel drives, the Vors Compact machines, obviously used to racing under the lights, and then you got to prepare for that mindset of daytime racing. And honestly, you were kind of one of the first features. There's not a lot of rubber put down on the racetrack, if any, because it's rained so much the last 48 hours.
The racetrack was definitely different, even in practice, from no rubber to racing after the All-American, a lot of rubber there. The track definitely changed a lot. We were kind of already in practice from Winchester a couple of weeks ago. It rained and we ended up racing the next day there too. So I guess we were ready for it.
We are talking now to Tom Gosser. He was the winner of the 37th Annual All-American 400 weekend for the Vors Compact Touring Series at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And I'm kind of ad-libbing that as the same time as I say that. I'm actually typing that word for word on our social media handles. And, for people that we've never had, I think we've had Kyle Frame on or Carter Stark on Finish Line before. Your hatchback car, Tom. Talk a little bit about it, how you got it started, your career, and man, you've got a pretty impressive resume as well. It's not pro late models and super late models, but man, you guys are just as diehard and as dedicated as those drivers to run the Vors series.
Yeah, my brother, he actually was running here, Trent. He was running with him before I started doing it, and just the good car counts is kind of what drew me to it. It's obviously a lot cheaper than running late models and super late models. But yeah, I mean the car counts is kind of what drew me into it, and we played around with a couple different cars. He runs a Prelude, and then I had an RSX, and then we ended up with the Civic, and I think this is a car we're probably going to stick with.
And obviously a hatchback car, that's so unique. One of the biggest races, I look at y'all's schedule, you're a part of Winchester 400 weekend. You've run Bristol before. You've ran Bristol at the what was the U.S. Short Track Nationals. I don't know if that's going to come back or not. It didn't race this previous year, maybe because of COVID related. I know they ran it the year before, but it was like not in June like normal. It was like in September, October, and I don't know if that hurt the race or not. But to get the opportunity to run at these venues in these types of Vors compact machines, how special is that, Tom? Because this series now in its 10th year, it's hard to believe it's been a decade. Talking with Dan Redmond and Steve Vore, you've ran from down as far as Pensacola in the Panhandle all the way up to Michigan at Berlin Raceway.
It's definitely cool to get around different tracks. And I mean, yeah, 5 years ago, or, definitely 10 years ago, you would have never thought compacts were going to be on, at races with other divisions like that. And that's just, a testament to everything that Steve and Dan and everybody with the, Vors crew has been able to do for us and get us into these things.
Tom Gosser again joining us, and you're about to see on social media what that car looks like. It's called the Outlaw, the Honda hatchback. Where did the nickname the Outlaw come from? And using it on that race car, and it's amazing how long that car's been around. I think I've seen it for like 3-4 years now. You really take care of that race car just like these guys take care of their late models.
Yeah, I mean, I try to keep it clean, keep it wiped down, keep everything, going good on it. Jackie Neal, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's a racer from around here, and that was kind of his paint scheme, and he sponsored us there the first year that we built this car, so that's kind of how we ended up with it, was just painting it like his for a sponsor deal, and I think we're kind of going to stick with it now. Everybody kind of knows it and be hard to get away from it.
Nashville All-American 400 winner Tom Gosser is again joining us on Finish Line. Coming up, it's hard to believe we're already about to wrap up hour number one. We preview the 19th annual North-South Shootout with promoter Mr. Darren Hackett of Caraway Speedway. That's going on this weekend. And Tom, what can you say as far as on a promoter standpoint, what Dan Redmond and, of course, Steve Vore, who started off as a promoter but is now kind of enjoying the benefits of the series, becoming a race car driver himself, have done, the family, Corey Hensley, so many people that are a part of the Vors Compact Touring Series, being on MAV TV, being on Speed 51, being on NBC Track Pass. What do you attribute that to the hard work that they've done and why you continue to support them and run with them?
Yeah, I mean, Dan just puts in a lot of hard work, talking to people, and they're really good promoters, and they do a good job on social media and with everything, and just getting our names out there and, talking to a lot of people. And, the racers put on really good shows, and we always have good car counts, and it shows for us.
Again, that is the driver, Tom Gosser. We got a few more minutes with that driver here on Finish Line. And follow the Vorse Compact Touring Series. They're on Facebook. They're on Twitter. They're on Instagram. They race at Eldora Speedway on the dirt once a year. They, of course, race from the Panhandle of Florida up to Winchester. Tom, how do you adapt? How do you adapt to all of these different racetracks that you're racing at, bud? I mean, you go from a half mile like Bristol short track. You go from, of course, the small bull rings like Ona Speedway in West Virginia. You go to Winchester, as banked as that place is. Of course, Pensacola at the Five Flags Speedway when you race there in February. You literally are on so many different racetracks. And how do you adapt? How do you try to keep your car in tune racing these different facilities?
It can be hard, you got to change the transmission and to change the gear to go from the big tracks to the little tracks. Suspension stuff, shocks and springs and all that. We don't really change a whole lot of it, but it's definitely, that's part of what makes it fun, is going to all these different places. And sometimes you go to a brand new track you've never been to before, and you kind of just got to go with it and figure it out as you're there and see how it goes. That's part of the fun of it.
Tom Gosser again joining us. Tom, what's your plans for 2022, bud? I mean, I know the season's come to an end. I know that, Dan and Steve gave their send-off on social media for the Vorse Compact Series yesterday and was thanking everybody. I mean, dude, I was going back and looking at studies and stats to prepare for our interview, man, and, man, what a great car count. I mean, I think there's, looking at the stats of races, over 30-plus entries and more for events all season long at a time where the economy is in unflux. We don't know what's going on with that. Fuel prices on the rise. So many shenanigans going on in politics and government and so many things we're dealing with on a personal level. It seems like this series is getting it done and it's being successful. What can you attribute to that being as a driver, Tom?
Yeah, just Dan and Steve do the best they can to take care of us, and, like our long races are usually kind of spread out. They're not all, back-to-back weeks or anything. Florida's a long ways from Nashville, it's at the other end of the season, and they just try to work the schedule out to make it, affordable. They all know, we're just regular guys that work normal jobs, and it's hard for us to get, Thursdays or Fridays off. So most races are on Saturdays, and, they just try to make it as easy on us as they can.
I'm looking at social media here on your Twitter handle at Tom Gosser as well, and man, you've ran some other stuff back in the day as well. I mean, of course, you can follow them at VCTS Racing on the social media for the Vorse Compact Touring Series. But, I look at your Twitter handle, and it looks like you haven't used it in a while. But you kind of had like hobby stocks. You ran hobby stocks, grand stocks, before moving into these Vorse Compact machines. Talk about a little bit of that racing career and how that was for you.
Yeah, I don't get on Twitter very often. Haven't been on there in a long time, but Thunder Cars is what we used to run around here to Anderson and Mount Lawn, some racetracks here. I only run 2 or 3 races in them, so not really much experience until we got into the front wheel drives. Like I said, just 2 or 3 times I ran it. My dad and my brother both raced them, so we just kind of ended up with a third car, and I put it together and run a few races, and that was about it with it, really.
Definitely. Well, hey, before we let you go, Tom, what is your plans? Are you finally done for the year? Obviously, I know being a part of the All-American 400 is special, and I know Bob Dillner told me this a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, Wesley, after Winchester, the Midwest is dead. There ain't nothing going on until we go to PRI in Indianapolis, obviously. But, it's a bench racing party in downtown Indiana Convention Center. But are y'all done for the season? Are y'all finished for the year? Or do you have any other kind of races planned that you're going to run?
Yeah, I think we're done for the year. Time to tear it apart and, rebuild some stuff and get it ready for next year. There are a couple of races, depending on how far along we are, sometimes we procrastinate that pretty bad about getting that done. But Anderson here runs the Turkey Bash one. I think they run a New Year's one. So, I mean, they do have a couple here in the colder months. I'm not sure if we'll make them to them or not. Just like I said, kind of depends on the status of the car when those come up. But I think we're most likely done for the year.
Well, there you go. Well, listen, I just got the check in the mail, so I'm a happy man right now. So somebody just come into the office and said, hey, your check's here. So, hey, I'm in a good mood. Thank you very much. Before I let you go, my friend, thank your sponsors, and congratulations to you, man. Thanks for being on Finish Line.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. We got a lot of them. Shelbyville Auto Parts, Gosser's Towing, Motion Motors, Fields Auto Parts, PGG Enterprises, Pro Tree Race Cars, Vales Concrete, Pat's Hideaway, a lot of sponsors, a lot of businesses around here in Anderson to help us out. That's appreciated.
There you go. Well, man, Tom, thanks for joining us, buddy. I appreciate it. Congratulations to you, and congratulations on that big. Can you play the guitar? Have you played any picking and grinning yet? And somebody turn on the lights.
No.
They put me in the dark.
No, I'm not very good at playing that. I've messed around with it a little bit, but. Yeah, it is a little dark.
Thank you. I can see again.
No, I've not really played that. Ain't my thing.
Hey, Tom, when it's live, and they cut the lights off, damn it, and put me in the bag in the dark. I didn't know what to do here. So all of a sudden, my head started to shrink, and I was like, okay, this isn't good. So thanks, Tom. Thank you, Tom, for being on Finish Line, buddy. I appreciate it. All right, Tom Gosser. Hey, at VCTS Racing, Vor's Compact Touring Series Racing on Facebook, Twitter. Thanks again to Dan Redmond and, of course, Steve Bohr, all of the awesome people for what they do. And, of course, when it's all said and done, a big job there for Mr. Gosser, Tom Gosser. They're joining us on Finish Line. We now go from talking about the All-American 400 to another event that is coming up this weekend. The John Blewett III Memorial, that is the North-South Shootout, and it'll be at Caraway Speedway. Of course, I am proud to be the voice of Caraway Speedway. However, there is a different announcer team that does the North-South Shootout because it is one of the biggest events in the country. It will be on Pit Road TV, so go to Pit Road TV to order the event. It starts on Saturday, racing in Pro Late models, mini stocks, and the modifieds. And joining us is the promoter, Darren Hackett. Darren, good morning to you. Welcome to Finish Line, sir.
Good morning, Wesley.
Darren, do me a favor. Take your phone and twist it for me. Make yourself vertical, and it'll make you bigger. Horizontal. Make yourself horizontal. There you go. See how cool that is?
How are you this morning, Wesley?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm doing well. This is my boss on Saturday nights on many occasions as well here. So Darren Hackett joining us on Finish Line. Darren, what my producer's in I know you're my boss, Charles. I know you're my boss. So Darren, big race, the North-South Shootout, man. The history of this race is amazing. Of course, it's John Blewett III in his honor. Of course, also Charles Kepley, your longtime friend and also co-promoter for many, many years when he was helping you with it. It's moved. It's moved from Concord to Hickory to Caraway, back to Concord, back to Hickory, back to Caraway. Does it feel like Caraway is at its rightful place? What does it mean to have this big event at Caraway Speedway, a track that also, Darren, means so much to you and your father, of course, what he did with Russell Hackett?
Well, let's go back 20 years ago or so. Charles come to my dad. I was down here working on the sweeper one Saturday morning, and Charles come by to drop a trailer off or something for later that day. And he talked to Dad about doing the shootout, and my dad kind of shunned him away. And, and a year or so later, Charles put the deal together at Concord, and it was at Concord from 2003 to 2010. And, and Charles suddenly passed away in early 2011, and they were looking for a home and to move it to. No one really, in other words, it was talk of it going to Myrtle Beach, and that kind of faded. And then Concord, David Layton told him, said, I'm not really interested in doing it on my own, said, you need to take it to Caraway. And so my dad went to pick up a load of tires at Freeman's, and he come back, and he said, for me, and he come back, and he said, because I had talked to Chad about bringing it here and all, and he said, "Vince, you want to do the shootout?" Even though I don't think it's a good idea, he said, "If you make that phone call." So I called, and we put together a deal, and we moved it here in 2011 through 14, and 14 was a bad year for it. We went to strictly NASCAR rules for it, 15 cars, and it lost what it needed. And so in 2015, we moved it to Concord, and it never got the success I wanted to have at Concord. It's had the years I've done it, it's had its best success right here. 2012 was the best year, and this year seems to be on track. We had 32 modifieds in 2012 tour mods, and we're somewhere around that number now. We're at 34 or 5 entries, but there's always one or two that might not show up, but there's some that probably is going to show up. So we're in that low 30 range, which is a good field of cars. And but anyhow, so it ended up at Concord, but it rained the first one, and it was a terrible day. I had to do it on Sunday, and it was a terrible weekend. Good car count, but we never seemed to be able to get it back off the map. And we moved it to Hickory in 2019, and done pretty good at Hickory with it, but still the fan attendance just wasn't the strongest at Hickory. I mean, all jokes aside, the best fan attendance has been of the 11 the 10 I've done. The best fan attendance has been at Caraway. It doesn't matter where we moved it to. The best car count has still been at Caraway in 2012. So we brought it back here last year because of the size of the facility. We was able to be classified as a 10,000 plus facility and have fans at that time, and it done okay. And we had the best show that I've ever seen. And but I think back, I was working here earlier this week, and I think back that had Charles convinced my dad to do that show in 2002 or whenever he was talking to him, we might not be sitting here right now, because I'm not so sure this was a show my dad could have done. And I don't mean that. He was a great short track promoter, but this type show takes a different concept. My dad was, it was a little bit Russell Hackett's way or no way, and this type show can't take that philosophy. So I'm not so sure that it would survived the 19 years had he had done that. But we've come full circle. We're back home, so to speak, with it. And, Caraway Speedway is basically the home of tour mods in the South. In other words, other than the weekly side at Bowman Gray. But I mean, in other words, Bowman Gray and Caraway is where the tour mods home is. And the Southern Modified team has branched out this year and done a great job. I've got to give my hands to them. Leslie, there's no I in team. A team is a team, and it takes a group of people. And last year we were trying to put together some modified deals, and they came to me and said, "Well, you make your shows smart shows," and we did, and it got off and got to running, and they've done a good job. Been having great car counts. I think things are going to get better. It's really hit modifieds in the South. So modifieds in the South is very strong right now, but we've all kind of had a little part, I feel like, in that, because everybody's really trying to pull the train together right now, and that's what it takes. One person can't pull the train.
Hey, and let's be honest here, as we also, prepare for this event, the 19th annual North-South Shootout at Caraway Speedway, and you can watch it live in person. You need to be there live, because that is a monstrous event for sure to be there for. But, of course, if not, Tony Stevens and Derek Pernissiglio, Eric Brennan will have the coverage for you on Pit Road TV as well. This event, I talk to people, and, in throughout this year, Mr. Hackett, I've had on Burt Myers and Jason Myers, Tim Brown, Jonathan Brown, Matt Hirschman, just some of the names of modified Go Fast, Andy Jankowiak, and they've all said, man, the North-South Shootout is something we definitely want to go after. There's been so many opportunities this year that where you sent Randy Myers or yourself to the racetracks across the country, whether it was at Motor Mile or South Boston or at Seekonk Speedway or Evergreen Speedway. There's provisionals up for grabs. If you win the race, you got the honor, you got money, you got a trophy, you got a plaque, and you get to run this event. That's taking a gamble. Do you think doing that, or do you think that it gives the opportunity to give guys that invitation on a provisional to try to come out here and see what Caraway Speedway and the North-South Shootout's all about?
I think it's helping. We put up $6,000 for bonus money, plus the cost of running up down the road and all that, and that's part of the business. I'm not complaining about it, but I mean we've spent quite a bit doing the bonus program and all that, and I don't know if it's paid its benefits this year, but we're looking at down the road as well. I mean, you're not just, you don't run anything on one day. This business runs, constantly, um, day in, day out. So, it's a payout of hopefully for the future, and try to bring this thing back. Like I said, we're up to 30 some cars. That's a step in the right direction. Doesn't mean that, it's time to go home and sit on the couch and say, hey, pat yourself on the back, because, it's not over. We got to keep going to work on Monday morning for next year, basically.
And honestly, Darren, I've been with you a lot this year. Man, it's been a struggle. There's been good times, and then there's been some bad times. The tire apocalypse is real. We talk to people about it on the pavement side, on the dirt side, drag racing, karting. I was talking with somebody in karting the other day about it. This is a real situation because not only is it affecting our nation with the shortage of products, but it's also affecting us with our business, with our livelihood. You are a race promoter. Caraway Speedway is your livelihood. You and Tina Lackey and Randy Myers and the people that are there at the racetrack. Your son, your daughter, Preston and Victoria. There is a lot of work that goes into that place, and obviously, suffice to say, Darren, your thoughts on this. It's been a struggle this year. Somehow or another, we're trying to get to the finish line and hope for a good winner to prepare for a bigger 2022.
Well, I don't see a lot of shortages. Just like I've got parts ordered for some PA speakers. It's that was supposed to be here. Ordered them in May, I think it was supposed to be here in August. Now they're not going to be here next May. So I ordered from a different company and still haven't come in. I mean, that's just one thing. The tires. I don't see the tire situation getting a lot better before next year, because we leave here. We got the Snowball Derby. You got the Governor's Cup. You got this, that. There's no catching up on it. I just don't think they're going to catch up that good on that over the winter in this 4-month period to get us what you call completely out of the woodworks. Yes, it's probably going to be better than it is right now, but just like we had this thing kind of put together, no competition this weekend. Hickory had to move the fall brawl due to shortage of tires and all that, and now he's up against us. Every year you're fighting something like that, but we've got a good show here, and I think the fans are going to see a good show here this weekend. We got 30 plus tour mods, 20 plus 602 mods. We got 14 pro late models, and that's with Hickory running against us. And I mean, I went to Kevin and Keith and tried to get them, and they didn't just add one; they put double points on it. They really disappointed me because I gave them one back in July, and then they didn't return the favor. But that's okay. Good field of mini stocks. Just look like to shape up, and the U.S. Legends is here for 30 laps. There's no one running Legends around here, so it should be a good field of cars. I'm hearing positive things about it, so I think we're going to have a great field of cars. A little cool, but starting at 1:30, we should be done before dark, and so hopefully it won't be too bad Saturday.
Darren, also another thing in regards to the modifieds. You mentioned the national modifieds, the tour mods. That's what they call them, the tour mods, the 602 mods. I think it's called the Southern States Pro Late Models. Can you give us a little bit more information about that? Is that a new series that is starting up? And, they just announced there's an all-pro late model series for pro late models that is going to be created next year in 2022. Steve Zacharias and the people at Florence are doing that. And then you got the Carolina Pro Late Model Series. You got tracks doing Pro Late Model events like yourself. The Misha Cell Memorial is rescheduled from last weekend to next weekend as well. Are there too many roosters in the hen house? As a longtime promoter, Darren, when is it going to be the time where everybody's going to say, guys, we got to have a damn roundtable meeting. We got to sit down here. We got to figure out a way to stop trying to cut each other's throats. And why in the world do we have another Torn series being created?
Well, I mean, just like I reached out to Kevin and begged and pleaded with him and Keith and got nowhere with that. Promoters are their own worst nightmare. We've got too many racetracks and too much stuff in this area. Let's take Connecticut, for instance. Look at the population of Connecticut. We got 3 racetracks: Waterford, Thompson, right. Stafford. Stafford is the one that is the home track, basically racing every Friday night. Thompson runs 10 times a year or whatever. And then you got Riverhead, that's not that far away, but it's not the easiest to get to. And you got Seacon. So you got all that population in 5 racetracks. Around here, we've got less population, and 30 racetracks in that same radius. So we've probably got too many racetracks for number one. So we're all competing. And I mean, promoters are competitors just like competitors are. But somewhere we've got to say, hey, and this thing's been upside down since R.J. Reynolds left. And I'm still a believer of that. Once T. Wayne died, the sport, and then Earnhardt, them two had a good relationship with Bill Jr. But once they left the weekly side and was throwing money to it, I mean, let's face it, as my dad always called it, green grease is what keeps it all together. And Winston threw plenty of money at it. So, if a racetrack didn't kind of want to go along, the Winston money helped. And you had rules meetings and kept everything consistent. We're all over the board in this part of the country right now. And, I'm the first to tell you we are. I don't know the solution to it. If I did, I probably would be sitting here talking to you. But, I mean, the solution is we could all get on the same page. But, you go to a guy and you talk to him and one or two of you get on the same page and everybody else sees an opportunity to try to gain a race car. To not follow change. That's the thing. We've all got to do it together.
Certainly.
And it's not that you're trying to force the racer to do anything, but if we got 9 motors or whatever in a limited division, so to speak. I mean that's way too many motors. The tour mods now has got 4 or 5 different combinations. We just keep getting all these combinations because everybody just keeps But then when you like the 602 mod, it's the only motor you can run, and it's still not as strong as it should be.
Right.
We had the 602 Super Limited deal, and it didn't stay strong like it should have. So, you say there's too many motors, but then you try to do a single motor, and it doesn't work either. So, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think we need to all get on the same page. I agree with you on that. But getting everybody on the same page is a different story.
For sure, definitely. Listen, a couple more questions, Darren, and we'll let you go. Coming up, of course, is going to be Dylan Brown, winner of Charlotte and the World Short Track Championship. He mentions the North-South shootout this weekend at Concord Speedway, Caraway Speedway. At Concord, at the dirt track, is the World of Outlaw World Finals. Of course, Dylan Brown winning the World Short Track Championship in Pro Late Models over the weekend. We've got him coming up. Lenny Baticki will talk about Charlotte. Also, Hickory Motor Speedway, the Fall Brawl. So many big races going on. And Darren, in closing, my friend, you're not done yet. You literally have the North-South shootout. You've got the Misha Cell Memorial, which was actually scheduled for Halloween weekend last Saturday. You made the decision last Wednesday to postpone it because of weather, which I think was a good decision. And also because of trying to help get more pro late model tires. And in addition to that, Hackett's original Thanksgiving Classic, a one-day show, a big event, a 35th anniversary coming up this year. That means so much to your family and the track as well.
Yeah, well, we really haven't had a weekend off till the 23rd of October. I didn't want to run against the Rodney Cook Memorial because it's just a few miles up the road. And that was the only weekend we had off since sometime in July because we've started doing some other stuff here on race weekends that we don't race. And so, our first weekend off is mid-December because by moving the Mission Sale race to next weekend, it's there. The following weekend is the drifting weekend. Then the original Thanksgiving Classic, which I can give you a little story on that. And then the next week we got a double header drifter car show and all that. So we're in the mid-December before. And then I think we got a drifting show. We take a week off and got another drifting show. So from now to Christmas, we got like 2 weekends off. So, but I mean, I guess I'm pushing the envelope on it. But Dad got to doing 45 shows a year racing Friday and Saturday night. So, but the original Thanksgiving Classic come from 1986. The Enduro. We done Enduro on Labor Day Friday, and the largest crowd ever been here. They lined all the way up to the interstate to get into place, and turned more people away than we put into place. And so naturally, that was the first Enduro in this area. So naturally, Dad wanted to do another one. So at that time, Thomas Brothers Country Ham owned the racetrack, and they wouldn't allow us to race on Sundays. So Dad said, "I'm gonna do it Thanksgiving Day." So the original one was Thanksgiving Day. So a year or two goes by, we buy the Speedway from Thomas Brothers after they quit racing, and moves it to Sunday after Thanksgiving. Done that a year or two, and he said Bob Harmon went and started the deal at Myrtle Beach with the All-Pro deal. And he'd always told Dad, he said, "I'm going to find me a show to do on Thanksgiving." And he finally found one. I'll never forget on MRN. Bob said, "This is the maiden voyage," because it was successful, So Dad moved to the weekend before Thanksgiving. Well, then over time, Harmony goes away with the All-Pro deal, and then Myrtle Beach goes to late model, and they moved the week before Thanksgiving, so we moved back to the week of
Right,
Thanksgiving.
right,
But we've been doing it
right.
since 1986, and it's been a good show, and it's the format's changed a little bit, but it's the longest running Thanksgiving show in the Carolinas.
And, of course, you got the Thanksgiving Classic at Kinley, and then you had the big race at Sobo, and now you got Florence, and you got Dill. Everybody is just trying to race on top of one another. We just got to try to find a date for everybody. Keep a certain radius apart. For sure, definitely. Darren, our time's grown short, sir, but I definitely wanted to have you here on Finish Line to talk about this with our Fox Sports Radio affiliates across the Carolinas, iHeartRadio, and the Community Radio Network to let everybody know about this awesome event and give one more quick rundown of how things start. And I believe it starts tomorrow with practice.
Well, optional hauler parking starts at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, we open the pit gates for practice day and tech day. The weather's not the best for tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. Friday morning is more practice with the Tour Mods qualifying Friday. Oh, the kickoff party is tomorrow night at Kickback Jacks, Thursday night at Kickback Jacks in Asheville, North Carolina. We've done that last year. And then on Friday, we do practice and qualify the Tour Mods. And we do that so that these other divisions don't have to come here and be here 2 or 3 days. And then on Saturday morning, we open up at 8 o'clock, and we go racing at 1:30, and a couple of rounds of practice for everybody. But the Tour Mods, they only get one, and their second round of practice is they're qualifying. We'll go racing here at 1:30, and hopefully we're done by 6 o'clock. And as soon as we get done with this one, we're going to work on the 20th annual, which should be even a greater show because we've had the Cars Tour late model stocks along with their new Pro Late Model show. All that'll be on Saturday. We're going to put racing back on Friday night with it. So I'm telling you that the things we're doing this year is working. It's even going to be bigger next year. And I'll tell you what, I'm really excited to host the 20th annual next year.
And by the way, in closing as well, Darren, Cars Tour announced they're going to open up the season with the March Madness event in March. The old North State Late Model Nationals, which pays $30,000 to win, which has been in years past at Greenville Pickens and at Orange County, is now going to be at Caraway. That's going to be a big race to start the season, and they're going to end the season, of course. And me and Randy Myers were talking about this the other day. For all these people that have wanted late model stocks or late models with your open wheel modifieds, you're getting that now at the North-South Shootout at Caraway next year.
Yes, I guess Randy and I have done something with the whole team here. I guess we've done something right. I had wanted to run a Cars Tour race here quite a while. We finally convinced Jack. We tried last year when he was looking for some dates and couldn't put it together. We got Jack to get us a date this year, 2020, and I guess we as a team, must have made an impression on him because he wanted to move the old North State Nationals here. And I said, well, I'd like to have you here with the shootout. And we cut a deal back in August, and we promised him secrecy till October when he got ready to announce it. So I knew all these things a couple months before everybody else did. And, it's not easy to keep a secret like that. But I'm very excited to host those two big events in 2021. And the schedule for next year is on the table. We're putting some stuff together now. Randy's been making some phone calls, and I made a few phone calls. I got shot down on something for next year, but I'm in a hat for 2022 on it, so I've got to keep that under the hat right now. But I mean, you can't quit working this business, and
That's right.
I'm so far behind in the construction side that it's unreal too. And I've got guys out working today, but today's their last day for this week because I'm gonna bring them here. But start Monday, we it's pretty weather. Hopefully we get some asphalt laid, and we've got to try to get caught back up. But I haven't even taken any new jobs because I got so far behind. But I'm really looking forward to finish this year out in 2022, and we got some improvements we want to make here before 2022. So we got a busy winter.
Well, Darren, thank you so much for joining us here on Finish Line. North-South Shootout this weekend. And, of course, I enjoy being the announcer, the voice of Caraway Speedway when I can. Unfortunately, I have some college basketball obligations this weekend, and you've got a great crew with Tony Stevens, Derek Perniciglio, and Eric Brennan. I know they're going to have it covered, and I'll see you next week for the Misha Sell Memorial. That should be a big event, and thanks for being on the program this morning. Get back to work.
All right. Thank you, Wesley.
No problem, sir. That's Darren Hackett, Caraway Speedway. A lot of great things going on. So we are at the top of the hour. We're moving into hour number 2. I was going to take a commercial break, but I'm not. We went a couple of minutes extra with the promoter, Darren Hackett. 19th annual North-South Shootout. So we're going to go back to the line now. And joining us is my buddy that I call Super Six. Look at him in his car. Producer, you did not tell me that he was in his car, damn it. You didn't tell me that. You just simply said that he was ready. Dylan Brown is joining us from Gaffney, South Carolina. Super Six winner at Charlotte in the World Short Track Championship. And he won that big event earlier in the year as well. Remember that 5,000 win event with the big steel blocks and the American Great All-Stars? Dylan, it just seems like lately, my friend, Charlotte Motor Speedway and the dirt track just go hand in hand to Super Six. Welcome to Finish Line, buddy.
Hey, man, how you doing? Thank you for having me on.
It's always good seeing you. I see you got this Duck Dynasty thing going on since the last time I saw you.
Hey, man, it's cold weather. It's time to pack on all you can, man, so you stay warm. Ain't like
It certainly is.
To stay warm.
It certainly is. Well, listen, Charlotte, a big win for you Saturday night. John Ruggiero Jr. is joining us next, but what a big win for you in the Pro Late Models. The big race, if you will, at the World Short Track Championship, sanctioned by Dirt Car Racing and Crate Racing USA. And as I said on the intro for you, you've got Charlotte figured out. Whatever you've got figured out, nobody else can get it done. You've got this place in a good idea of how to win and compete and doing well. And hell, man, if you go to Vegas and get a 6.0 super late model, you might have a shot to win the World Finals this weekend.
Well, here's the problem, Wesley. I got a super late model, and I just understand that, with those guys coming to town, I probably don't belong there. I'm not ready for that. But Charlotte just really suits me. It suits my driving style. I like to be real straight, keep my car loaded, and drive with the feel of the right front, and it suits me. But I get a lot of the credit, but my brother and Russell Kennerly have really hit it every time we've been there, man. Those are the two guys that go with me everywhere I go. And if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be standing here. I wouldn't be on the phone with you today, probably.
Well, man, I'm telling you, I just was looking at the information and the details, and I'm just like, wow, he's done it again. He done it again. You won that event back in July. I think it was the Carolina Sizzler at Charlotte. And I mean, your career, I think of as watching you flourish, because I've seen where you started in the trenches, local tracks, running fast track racing series. And, now you're still running all these big Pro Late Model events, and you're traveling all over the country, running big shows. And man, I know you're from Gaffney, but it's got to be special to win at a place like Charlotte. What does the win at Charlotte mean to you?
Well, it just means a lot, man. Anytime I won I can't remember what they call it, but it's the May event they have there in 2018. I won it, and it didn't pay but $2,000, so it wasn't like it's a whole lot of money, but it was just the fact of winning the race done more product wise. And like, just when you win at Charlotte, everybody knows, man. Like everybody's following that. It don't matter if it pays. Well, this year I've won a 2, because it paid $2,000 to win at the Summer Sizzler on Saturday night, and then I won the 10 on Sunday, and then paid 4 this weekend. So, but it don't really matter if I hate to say that, because them promoters, they don't want to pay you nothing now. So next year they'll probably just pay us a hot dog. But it don't really matter what it pays to win at Charlotte. It's just a matter of the stage and the eyes that are on it, and everybody pays attention and everybody cares who wins Charlotte. And, so it makes it big for me too, that it's very beneficial to my program, because guys like Renegade and Penske and Profab and Spike at Willwood and Trent at Pro System, Hooker Harnesses, all those guys that are really good to me, they're paying attention to that. So, it's almost like it's just an opportunity to put those guys on display.
A lot of big sponsors, and I think we can continue in this subject of saying, Dylan, without sponsors, we're struggling. We just had Darren Hackett on talking about promoting races. You as race car drivers, if you ain't got those sponsors on those cars, it's not helping to pay for your tires, your fuel, your shocks, your race parts, and most importantly, your advertising. These race cars are billboards for businesses. Racing and sponsorship goes hand in hand. You're crazy if you're not a business partner in racing with drivers.
Oh, I agree, man. And it takes, like me today, I'm at work now. I'm in my work truck. my family owns Jerky Landscaping, and obviously that's a big part of that. But I have a lot of I told my grandfather, I said, I got a phone interview at 12 o'clock. And he said, well, if you can do it in the truck, you can do it. So here we are. But, you know, it takes us all, man. I mean, it takes everybody on my race car. It takes every one of them. You know, I couldn't do it without all of them. And it's the industry has gotten so big that all the prices are going up. I don't see how it's going to keep going the way it is. So it takes every sponsor on my race car literally to get me to the racetrack every week. And I'm so appreciative for every one of them. I probably left some of them out when I named a bunch of them a while ago, but you know, it's an honor to have their name on the side of my race car.
Dylan, you know, we were getting a promoter's perspective of that just a few moments ago, and I'll throw it back to you on this thought as well as being a driver. Where do we see as a driver the economy hurting racing, helping racing? Where do you see racing going? You just kind of open that door. I'm just going to kick the damn thing down and let you talk about it. But where do you see the industry going with all of this tire apocalypse, the shortage of parts, and everything else that's happening in our country, much less in the sport that we all love, motor racing?
Well, so honestly, you know, obviously none of us know where it's going to go. But the problem is, Wesley, like the prices. I mean, you know, I'm not, you know, Hoosier's good to me too, so I don't want to pick on them. But like, you know, the prices of tires, I mean, they keep going up. The prices of, you know, it's hard for me to say because, you know, if some of these guys see that, they're going to say, well, you know, he gets a good deal on that stuff anyway. So, but like the price of stuff is just going up. I mean, you know, and it's going to get to a point to where your local guy can't afford to do this anymore, you know, and it's that's what makes this whole deal go. Like the local tracks and the local racers, what makes racing, you know. Without them, then there is no racing. And so I don't know. That's a hard question to answer, Wesley. I just see the cost of things and how hard it is to get your hands on things now. Like, you know, if you want to go race somewhere, you better have your tires a month out, and that's if you can find them. And you know, if you need a part, if you have a part failure, you better have it on your truck, or you might not race.
Yeah, Dylan Brown definitely giving us some great insight on that. I mean, it's a struggle. You know, we just had a promoter on, Darren Hackett, talking about pavement. We've had other previous drivers on. We had the pro late model and super late model winners at Nashville at the All-American over the weekend, talking about the struggles and the changing and adaptions of practice sessions and everything else. And that's one of the things I want to talk about here with you, Dylan. You get 3 laps. Practice session in dirt track racing, unless you lease the damn racetrack for the day, is 3 laps. Green, white, checker. Get your car figured out, get it dialed in. You come right back out and you're on the qualifying or run your heat race, however they decide to do it in their racing format. You know, do you think that possibly, and I know pavement racing is different than dirt. You know, maybe you don't need to be green, white, checker for pavement cars because that's only in qualifying. But do you think that there might be some things that the world of pavement racing could take off of dirt that we know is working in this industry that could make a pavement program better?
Oh, sure it could. You know, I mean, and you know, this is no slur to pavement, but I mean, if you go look at some of the big races that in the stands for the dirt cars, man, they make you learn a lot, you know. And it's weird you say that because that's what we do. We do my family business. We do paving, but I've always said that the pavement is the pavement. You know, that the pavement side of things is you know, it all trickles down. So obviously, you know, dirt racing learns a lot from pavement too. So, but I think that could be used both ways. But weird you say that. This weekend at Charlotte, we didn't get no hot laps. We rolled straight out there to qualify. Green, white, checker qualifying. You know, I don't like it sometimes, but I would rather, you know, let's show up, let's line up and unload them off the truck and let's see where we're at and not sit here and practice all night.
Dylan, what is your plans for the rest of the year, bud? I mean, obviously a big win for you, Charlotte. You know, you have primarily, for the most part, done pro late model racing. I think you've dabbed into super late models a time or two. Do you still have a super late model car? or are you kind of putting your efforts back into the pro late model program?
So I'm just, just to be honest, Wesley, like, yeah, I got a car, on a motor, and fortunate enough to have good equipment, but I got about 500 laps in a supercar, and I'm just not there yet. I mean, I just don't have the feel that I need to have, and I just don't have the experience. But you ain't gonna get it with it sitting at home, so I understand that. But every time we seem to take the crate car out this year, we win. So it's hard to load that supercar up and go to some of these more regional races and race for less money than we've been fortunate enough to win in my crate car this year. So we're going to go to Bulls Gap next weekend with the American All-Star Series. They're having a 15,000 win crate race. And then we're going to come back and go with Crate Racing USA to Needmore is the plan. And then we may run our supercar to Blue Gray 100 on that Sunday, that same weekend. And after that, I've had enough for the year, Wesley. I'm tired of beating up down this road. I got a newborn little boy and my wife at home, so I'm going to spend a little time with them guys.
Well, Super 6 Dylan Brown for sure is, and that is a nickname that I gave him a long time ago, and it stuck. And he promotes it. Listen, I never can wear race shirts of drivers because obviously I don't want to. Well, you like that guy better than you like that guy. Oh, I will hear your mess. But I will tell you, of people that give me race car shirts, I do wear the Super 6 Dylan Brown shirt around the house. That you gave me at the World Championships a couple of years ago. And, of course, I always had people tell me, Essex and Eshelman, when you give a driver a nickname and it sticks and it becomes popular, that's something that nobody can ever take away from you. And that's not an ego thing. That's just you see the drivers, you see what they've done, you start to develop nicknames for these guys, And that's another conversation we've talked about is, maybe drivers in pavement need to start getting nicknames like Young Money Kyle Larson or Rowdy Kyle Busch in NASCAR. The same thing for Super 6 Dylan Brown or Big Sexy Brandon Overton, Black Sunshine, Voodoo Child, whatever you want to call Scott Bloomquist, the Dirt Tracks Dominator. So many, the man, the myth, the legend. There's so many nicknames. I think he's probably the guy that's got the most nicknames of anybody in dirt track racing, I believe. But, but you market it, though. Am I right, though, Dylan? You market it. You make shirts. You put it on your car, and then you build a trend out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you just included me with some really big nicknames there, I don't think that I'm nowhere near measurable at all. So some of those names you just said, maybe any of them, but I appreciate you, Wesley. I appreciate the nickname, and it has stuck for some reason. Like you started calling me that, and I just kind of let it go. Then I went to other places and raced with other people, and they were calling me that. And I was like, how? Like I didn't write that down on no paper. Like the nickname part of it, like I never put Super 6, but I do now. So I guess that's credit to you.
Yeah, for sure. And I've seen it on the car, and I've seen it on everything else. Brandon Paul from Flow Sports says, Wesley, do the worm. I can't do that on the set here. Obviously, I'm sitting down in my chair in the studio. I'll just go like this for you, okay? We'll just do like that. There's your worm for you. So, Dylan, do you dance? You do the worm?
Nah, I promise you, Dylan's not doing the worm.
Well, listen, Judson O'Neill in the Judson Racing Network, young kid, just celebrated a birthday the other day. He does a lot of stuff with Dirty Mo Media and Dale Earnhardt Jr. I met those guys down at the Snowball Derby last year, and one of the things they wanted me to do was dance with them on stage while I was hosting the bull ring. And the guy tells me, he's like, Bob Dillner tells me that if I don't do the Giddy Up Challenge, he's going to ship my ass on a plane back to Raleigh and not work the Snowball Derby. So I done the Giddy Up Challenge. Well, then before we go off the air, the young kid says, I dare you to do the worm, Wesley. So I started doing the worm, and in a not appropriate way, looked like I was – never mind. I'm not even going to go there. So I was going to say it, but I'm not. It looked like I was doing things to the floor that I shouldn't have. So anyhow, it just did not work.
but I tried anyway. So, so he's cutting up with me on that. Brandon Paul, FlowRacing.com, Flow Sports, they do a phenomenal job. They cover a lot of racing as well. Of course, they did a great job of the National 100. Dylan, the Blue Gray 100, are you going to go to Cherokee? Are you going to go to that race? Could we see you put a supercar together for that show?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, welcome back.
I'll be. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, it's hard not live here at Tricky Landscaping. But no, yeah. So we're
you're live. It's live. There's nothing you can do. We can't edit this out.
Yeah, it don't matter. Hey, man, the working man, he understands.
That's right. Okay, well, what I was saying was Blue Gray 100 at Cherokee. What the hell are you doing to me? He put the worm. Dylan, did you see this? He put the worm on the screen.
Yeah.
What is it?
I didn't do that.
You just lost your pay for the day, Charles. No Whataburger for you tonight, okay? Dylan. So again, Blue Gray 100 Cherokee Speedway. Will we see you make that race down there at Gaffney? I know it's a special place for you.
Yes, sir. I'll be there for that one. And like I said earlier, Wesley, it's just about getting laps for me. Like I just need laps, and once I get the feel that I'm looking for, the feel for my, I like I said earlier, I drive really out the right front. I'm a big right front dependent guy. I got to be able to feel the right front and the right rear. And in that supercar, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't feel nothing. I'm just listening to that sucker scream and trying to keep aside the concrete. So, I'm getting better. I mean, I'm getting better and better and better. And for some reason, we keep only going to World Outlaw races. I don't know why. We don't belong there. So, we keep running top 10 so with the Outlaws, but we need to dodge some of those Outlaw races and hit us a few Clash and Ultimate races and just get some laps and get comfortable.
But that's got to be a confidence booster, though. I mean, damn, you run with the World of Outlaws, the greatest show on dirt, and the as my friend Rick Eshelman calls, the most powerful late models on the planet. You're at least staying in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, but we keep going to Gaffney too. I probably have as many laps or more than a lot of those guys have, and in any kind of type of car. So that helps me a lot there too. So. But I'm not outclassed. I mean, we have as good of equipment as they got, and I'm fortunate enough to have that stuff. But it's just a matter of time, and it's something I really want. I wanted, to be able to say my career was over. I wanted to be able to say I won some big crate races, and the good Lord's blessed me, and I've accomplished that this year. So the next thing on the list, every year my wife asks me, she'll say, Dylan, what is your goals for the year? In January or February, she asks me that every year since I've met her, and we've been together. God, I don't even know how long now. Long time, 6-7 years. And she asked me this winter, she said, well, what's your goals for the year? Because I don't really follow any points or anything like that. And I said, I want to win a big crate race.
I was trying to get the money, baby. I was trying to bring in the money.
Yeah, baby got to have new shoes, right? So, so we won a big crate race this year, but we didn't accomplish the super part. And we got one left, and we'll see if we can do that. But if not, then, when she asked me in February what my goal is, it's going to be to win my first super race.
Well, listen, I'm confident. I know it's coming. I have called many of your race victories. I think I called your first fast track win, your first pro late model win when you won at Cherokee Speedway. I was there for that one. When you won your first touring race, I believe it was at With Raceway. When you won that race, I remember how emotional of a victory that was for you when you won at Tyler County Speedway. So, yeah, man, keep your head up for sure. And like I said, you're one of those guys that have really went from the pro late model world and still doing well moving into supers. And I think where we're going to see you probably super late model world, definitely, bud. Well, listen, thank you for being on, Dylan. I'll let you get back to work for a very, very long time as well. And before we do, we want you to thank your sponsors for being on Finish Line.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you allowing me to have this call. And I think you said my phone cut out. I think you said thank my sponsors, didn't you, Wesley?
Yes. Thank your sponsors, please.
Yeah, honestly, obviously, my mom and dad, my grandma and grandpa with Tricky Landscaping. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. And Warren Performance Automotive, Raised Wraps, Henry Race Engines, and like I said, Hooker Harnesses, Jones Pulleys, and Penske Racing Shots, Wyatt with Hardison Shock Technologies, Renegade Race Fuels, Andrew with ProFab, MBI Construction, and Russell Kennerly and my brother. Those guys, like I said at the beginning of this call, they're a really, really big part of my team, and they are my team, and they make me look really good, and I can't appreciate those guys enough. And I want to thank my wife, man. She lets me beat up and down the road, going, they don't tell her how many weekends a year. And, just the good Lord for the opportunity. He's really blessed me this year, and I've had an awesome year. And I'm just really appreciative. Now, I'm a big ego guy, Wesley. I really am. I have to drive. My ego drives me, but I'm also a very humble guy, and I'm really blessed, really, really appreciative for the year I've had.
Hey, Dylan, that's not an ego thing, buddy. That's just your character. That's just the drive and the passion that you have, and it's not bragging when you get up, especially when you're successful. For sure, never think that. That's not an ego thing, buddy. Definitely.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Leslie, and I appreciate you. I appreciate Fox Sports, and I appreciate the opportunity. And it was meant a lot to me for you to ask me to do this.
I'm sure we'll have you back on in the very near future, because I think there's some big races on the horizon. When you finally win in the super late models, which I believe will probably before the summer of next year, we'll definitely get you back here on Finish Line. And good luck to you and everything else going on. Volunteer, Bulls Gap coming up. Should be some big money shows. Shout out to my buddy Cody Early and everybody there at Bulls Gap. Should be a good race, and thanks for being on today.
I'll see you soon, Leslie. Thank you.
Super 6, Dylan Brown, joining us on Finish Line as he goes back to work. You see him? Now you don't. Now you see him? Now you don't. Where'd he go? All right. Up next, John Ruggiero Jr. We got a few minutes with him because I think he had some technical issues, but we do got him in the hot seat. And, of course, that is the driver of John Ruggiero Jr. out of Lincolnton or Rutherford to North Carolina. We'll get him on the program. John Ruggiero, you with us, buddy? Good morning. Or good afternoon, actually. John, are you there? We may be having some technical difficulties connecting to the 44 of John Ruggiero Jr. So one thing we need to do is thank our sponsors. We've not done it in the first hour. We'll get John back on here in just a bit. Stand by. More Finish Line when we return.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all four sides up immediately than having it go around from side to side to car to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. And find out why the concept is true to stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This is Finish Line.
Hey, good afternoon. We're ready to go back here with the hour number 2 of Finish Line. I'm your host, Wesley Outland. We're going to call an audible like a football play. We're going to change things up. We're going to move now Lenny Baticki in, and we'll have John Ruggiero Jr. joining to close out the show as he is right on time. Good friend, announcer at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Atlanta Motor Speedway, PRNs at the track on the Performance Racing Network, does stuff with Pit Road TV, Legends Nation, Track Pass, and just a very good friend, Lenny Baticki, getting ready for the World Finals at Charlotte. Lenny, good afternoon to you, buddy.
Good afternoon to you, Wesley. And I'll tell you, the thing that I like best is the good friend title. That's the important thing.
Good friend.
Wesley, we've watched your career continue to grow and grow, and all the things. Turn it like that? I can do that.
That's right. We know how to read each other's mind. There you go. And he is at
look at
Charlotte.
We're at the where we're going to host a camper appreciation party for tonight's campers that are here for the NGK NTK World of Outlaws World Finals. Going to be a blast, but man, I'm also going to be thinking of my modified friends up at Caraway doing stuff there. And this lineup of guests you've had, Dylan Brown, the Profab driver, he just crushed him last week at the World Short Track Championships. I don't know how you keep it up, man. You've got a lot of great people on, and I'm glad to squeeze in here.
Lenny, it looks like you got nice teeth. We can see your mouth, but we can't see your face. So we got to get you.
I'm trying to get farther away. My arm's not that big, and I can only hear you. I can't hear you through a speaker.
Okay, I see you. Okay. Well, if you want to turn your camera back that way, if it'll make it where you can hear better, please do that. Let's just go back and do it that way.
It's a little better this way.
Well, that'll work. My producer says that's fine. You cut off half the screen, but it's all good. So, hey,
there you go.
Finals,
cut off this part here, and they'll be happy. They can just look at the shirt.
That's right. Of course, don't forget PRN's at the track. And a lot of people don't know this, but I was one of the original guests on PRN's at the track when you started it over a decade ago. Yes. It's amazing where it's gone. Doug Rice, Performance Racing Network. It's now also a Midwest show and the Southeast show, Performance Racing Network, PRN's at the track. We're talking with Lenny Baticki, the host. And Lenny, the World Finals, I'm not going to be there this year, obviously, because I have college basketball obligations to do. But the World Finals, I've been a part of it. I've enjoyed it. I've been there right with you for so many years and other people. It just seems like it's an electric event. Things changed because of COVID last year, but do you feel the hype and the excitement and the buzz that is back than ever before since maybe the first time the World Finals has been in Charlotte?
Well, there's certainly a lot of buzz because we have fans back, and they've come from all over. I don't know whether we made it to 50 states. Hawaii and Alaska may have some travel restrictions in some other states, but I know we've certainly got a full house coming, and it's going to be, that feel that we've had for so many years, the exploding bombs when the cars are out doing that massive 4-wide salute with all 3 divisions, and so much more that'll be going on. We've got this event here tonight, the Camper Appreciation Party. Our friends from Dirty Grass Soul, I don't know whether I pointed at the right sign, but that's they're going to play tonight. And then on throughout, we're going to start a couple hours early. So if anybody was planning on being here at 5, we're going to start at 3 now because the darn weather is going to be cold. But at least for the most part, it should be dry. And these drivers will be going fast.
Lenny, ain't that crazy? Last week it was like 75, 80 degrees. A week later, it's like dang 30 degrees at nighttime. It's like I always say, if you don't like the weather in Florida, stick around, it'll change. I guess we can say the same thing about North Carolina, too. And Texas also, my producer says in my ear.
Yeah, Texas, all of it. But you know what? I love wearing a hoodie. So, hey, this kind of weather, it'll be cool. Put another couple layers underneath it, and it'll be good to go. It's nice to get those hoodies out of the closet. Really like seeing all the vintage ones and stuff like that. And, maybe I'll see a Where's Wesley hoodie out there.
No. It's where's Wesley? It's only during the Waldo segments with CrateInsider.com in Indianapolis, and I don't even think I'm going to Indianapolis this year except for 2 days because that's that big Solid Rock Carriers late model stock event. Lenny, we talk about the World Finals, we talk about the World Short Track Championship. And the hub of racing is in where you're located in the Queen City of Charlotte, Race City, USA. What can you say about what, Marcus Smith and everybody at Speedway Motorsports Incorporated have done to make the World Finals be as big, and of course to the dirt track world, bigger than what we see at the NASCAR track at America's Home for Racing every year?
Well, Matt Grieche and Eric Singhaus have really jumped in. They're, second-generation racers, and they work for Speedway Motorsports and have put their heart into it. Dennis Clem, the track operations guy that makes sure that the racing surface. Last week, we took all that rain, and Dennis and the crew, and they brought in some World Racing Group folks that really helped out a massive amount, but they saved that track. And our guest, John Ruggiero Jr., coming up, and Dylan Brown and others that won, they all got to experience what having the kind of backing that Speedway Motorsports has here, that, we support this racing. And Marcus Smith says, that's a big deal. We certainly want to have the fans experience SMI and Charlotte Motor Speedway the way we're proud to do so. And, same thing about when we go over to Bristol, when they go down to Texas to the dirt track, Vegas out there. Marcus supports dirt racing. In fact, our show invented off of an idea that Marcus Smith said, go out and support grassroots racing. He didn't say only go to pavement tracks that have NASCAR kids. He said, go support grassroots racing. And that's what we've done ever since.
Yeah, that's what you've done. I mean, and you cover dirt, you cover pavement, you cover legends, karting, late models, dirt, pavement, modified, sprint cars, you name it. PRN's at the track has done it. And I see you wearing that ProFab hat. Shout out to our buddy Andrew Garris and what he does at Pro Fabrication. He's a good friend. And, one of the things I tell somebody, I was like, when you do advertising or you do shows or you do promotions with Lenny Baticki, he's like a damn billboard. He will wear any and everything. He will promote your company. He'll promote your show. And for sure, listen, you see the sweatshirt that he's wearing here from PRN's at the track. You can actually order those clothes. You can order them, and that money goes going back towards keeping PRNs at the track being successful for another decades to come, Lenny, as well as supporting short track racing for sure.
Well, we've been honored with the sales of these hoodies and T-shirts to actually donate it back to Speedway Children's Charities. So when
Awesome.
LJDesigns.net takes an order for a hoodie or a T-shirt associated with our show, we put the profits from that over to Speedway Children's Charities, and we're honored to participate. Another great thing that Bruton Smith and Marcus Smith and Graham Smith all support. Speedway Children's Charities helps out thousands of kids across the country, and any little bit that any of us could do to help that is always a good thing.
Lenny, this is as far as a perspective as an announcer, broadcaster, media person like myself. What can you say? We heard the perspective from drivers. We've heard it from the dirt side. We've heard it from the pavement side, from Matt Craig and Cole Williams on the All-American 400. Obviously, the schedule condensed. It was condensed at Charlotte. We heard Darren Hackett's side of things on promoting the North-South shootout. So lend me your ear if you don't mind, buddy. Where do you see short track racing, dirt pavement going? The dirt track at Charlotte, obviously. I would say take this away from the equation because that's an SMI, Speedway Motorsports Incorporated event. Dirt car racing, World Racing Group are as involved in these things. But you go to short tracks across the country like I have. Where do you see us post-pandemic and trying to get above the curve, if you will, of not the virus, but the shortage of all the parts and tires and things that are hurting our nation, causing it effects in racing, and we're all just still trying to be stubborn and hard-headed and keep it going?
Well, I tell you, Americans are resourceful, and you can see that in our racers. Racers are extremely resourceful. How they, work around the rules sometimes. That can get creative for the officials, but that's not what we announcers focus on. What I think is that some of the tire rule stuff actually is benefiting because they're able to save a little bit of money, and money's tight for racers, no matter whether it's a good economy, a bad economy, or whenever. They've always got that. So saving a few dollars there, instead of having 6 or 8 or 12 tires, you got 4, and you go race, and you make the most of it. And that doesn't make a racer real happy because he wants to bolt on 4 new ones every 4 or 5 laps. But, the economy of it keeps it balanced out. I think the promoters, the ones that are doing good or bad, need to remember the basics, that, you've got fans coming in that have worked all week. You got to give them a little bit of entertainment. It's just like when you're up there on the microphone, you're talking to them, you're making them feel like a part of the community. And, it starts with the bathrooms. The ladies' room's always the thing that Humpy Wheeler and all the great promoters will tell you. You make your ladies' bathroom good and clean and bright and, with plenty of hand towels and other stuff. The rest kind of falls in line. So don't forget the basics to all the track promoters.
And my producer says in my ear, no, Lenny, cheeseburgers come first. We got
You have cheeseburgers, walking tacos like they have at Millbridge, bird dogs, the chicken on a hot dog bun like they have at Lawrence County. See, I know all these little food places, but, you have to have that fun experience for the fans to come out and appreciate the race, because not all of them are born into a racing family. Sometimes we have to convince them how cool what we love is.
Definitely. Again, Lenny Baticki is joining us here on Finish Line. John Ruggiero Jr. will be joining us here. We had to call an audible and flip-flop our guest here. Charles, quit eating and put me back on the screen. I tried to give you a thumbs up 3 times.
With John Ruggiero?
Did I what now?
Did you say flip with John Ruggiero?
We had to do an audible. We had to do an audible or a flip with Lenny Baticki and John Ruggiero Jr. So John is our last guest.
Ruggiero flipped out here on Friday and won on Saturday.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that for sure, definitely. And, he's also my producer was in my ear as well. He's an iRacing competitor. He runs iRacing. So the dirt track at Charlotte is on iRacing. I think of so many cool things, Lenny, and I think it was only fitting that when we were going through the pandemic and, of course, the country was shut down and we came up with iRacing on network TV, the first big race was NASCAR, and the race that was done on dirt for World of Outlaws on FS1 was from the dirt track at Charlotte. And our good friend, Trent Ivy, the little head knocker, was the inaugural winner of that.
Trent Ivy is amazing, winning electronically, winning on the dirt, and always walking in like a boss. He's one of those kids that is humble and respectful, but he has the swagger like his great father in the race car had, and it's neat to see another generation from Union, South Carolina coming up and head knocking.
Yeah, the head knocker, P.D. Ivy, is what he's referring to. And, of course, the young man, Trent Ivy, building his own legacy. All right, now, Lenny, let's go back to the World Finals. Big block modifieds with the Super Dirt Car Series, the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, the World of Outlaw Morton Buildings Late Models. They call these the greatest show on dirt, the best 3 dirt sanctioning bodies in the world. They come to Charlotte every year. Obviously, things get kicked off tonight with the pit party, the bonfire, and then it racing on the track tomorrow. And I tell people this, and I know you'll say it as well, Lenny. We get there, we set up, it's prep, it's work, it's grueling, and then it's over. And it flies by. So you better take advantage of this, because this is the last hurrah until the Dirt Car Nationals at Barberville, Florida Evolution in February.
Yeah, they've really got to come out and participate. There are some single-day tickets available. They go to charlottemotorspeedway.com to find them. And I look for David Gravel, Logan Schuchart to be really, really good this weekend. They've won here last year. They've always raced well here in the wing sprint cars. I think it's pretty open in the dirt late models. Chris Smokey Madden's won here before in the Dryden machine, but you've also got T-Mac, Tim McCready, and Jonathan Davenport in those just excellently prepared Bill Steinbach machines. And the late model race is going to be a wide open one. And then up in the big block modifieds, I think somebody named Matt, whether it's 4 letters of Matt or 3 letters of Matt, you're going to be able to bet on a Matt to be up front there in the big block modifieds. Always a cool time. You know, the one and only World Finals at the dirt track.
For sure, definitely. Hey, another thing I want to talk about with you, Lenny, is NASCAR. What's your take of the Championship 4? We've seen Kyle Larson just literally, go through the lowest of lows because of a mistake last year, redeem himself, probably gain more of a fan base and a love and new racing fans in the sport because of what he did. Now with Hendrick Motorsports, 9 wins on the season, number 1 seed fighting for the Championship 4 at Phoenix this weekend. Chase Elliott, though it's been, not a good season per se, he's been consistent. He's in a race for a championship again, trying to be a 2-time and defending title holder. You've got Martin Truex Jr. Could he go back to being a champion again? And I think the one is Denny Hamlin. And there's a lot of controversy of what Hamlin did to Bowman at the end of Martinsville. Was it right? Was it wrong? Maybe he should have got disqualified. Obviously there's a take of so many things on that. Your thoughts of the Championship 4 and who you think's going to prevail the champion, Lenny?
Well, when I look at those 4 guys, I see a modified racer from New Jersey when I look at Truex. I see the Southern National Speedway champion from 2006 in Denny Hamlin. Larson goes without question everything from the Chili Bowl championships that he's won to the dirt late models that he's winning with Kevin Rumley and that crowd. And, then I look at Chase Elliott. And I look at the Legends kid that he was, that he won in Ray Cook's dirt late model. I mean, I think these guys are pretty fun to watch
ASA
as
late
they've ascended.
models? Yes.
Yeah.
I look at ASA late models. I look at pass. I look at cars. This young man has definitely been. All these guys have come from the short track ranks, and I think that's what makes it so special.
Yeah, I do as well, Wesley. You've got the right version of this. And it'll be great if Larson can run the table and pull this off. But the drama, that 9th inning walk-off sits there for the other 3 to just end up as champion in the last race of the season out in Phoenix. That's what we all watch for, to see what that drama is going to be. Can Larson really run the table and get that championship trophy this year? Or will he have to wait for another time if it ever comes again so that he can be champion? It's going to be a barn burner. I think all of us in the dirt world are watching Larson to see if he can pull this one off. His maturity this year, his openness this year, his respect this year, phenomenal. And, sometimes you have to go through that training and that hardship to become a better person. And by gosh, I am sure Kyle Larson is a better person because of all the trials and tribulations. You and I have gone through them ourselves, brother. But I think Larson has set the bar for all of us to understand that you can fall, you can make a mistake, but you can come back strong.
And that's the thing. This life is not easy. It has its good times and its bad times, and it's not a straight path. I always say in closing, don't go on the straight line. Go on these curvy roads of life. If you get knocked down, scrape yourself off, get back up again, keep on going until you reach your finish line. Don't let anybody chase you away from your dreams, because you are the only person that can keep you from being successful in what you want to be. So definitely, Lenny, I carry those same sentiments with you as well about Kyle Larson. And I will say this. I think that, whatever happens, these 4 drivers that are in the Championship 4, they've had their own journey. They've had their own battle to reach this finish line, to make it to Phoenix and race for the championship. And we'll see who ends up and prevails. If Larson doesn't win, hey, he's had a heck of a year, 9 wins. Going back to Hendrick, I think he's done a phenomenal job. If Chase Elliott repeats, I think that's going to be great for the sport. I look at Denny Hamlin. He's a three-time Daytona 500 winner. You look at all the successes he's had, but not a championship. And at the end of the day, if he can work that and win that championship, or even Martin Truex Jr., who's won this championship in years past as well in the Bass Pro car, if he could win it as well, all these drivers, Lenny, I believe, are deserving for the title.
Well, and, you don't have to love Denny Hamlin, but you have to appreciate that he's bringing the heat. And as an old wrestling fan, I love it when the bad guys are throwing the good guys around and making us all upset. It just makes for that much more drama. So, Hamlin being the black hat right now, and that's a good thing for this championship as well.
Lenny, final question. We'll let you go. I think we've got John Ruggiero Jr. coming up. We're also coming up on the top of the hour, so we have to part ways with a couple of our radio affiliates because we only have a 2-hour block with them. The archives will be up in a bit. But Lenny, in closing, let everybody know pricing, tickets in the pits, the grandstands, and of course, are there tickets still available for the Race the World Finals?
Single-day tickets are still available. The easiest place to go so I don't mess up $5 here or there, CharlotteMotorspeedway.com will get you tuned in. Follow PRNs at the track on Twitter. We'll keep you updated with all the information we can find, and keep tuned in to Wesley Outland. He's got it handled, and always a great show. Thank you, an honor to be on.
Well, I know whoever wins Saturday's World Finals, we've got them scheduled, big blocks, late models, and sprint cars to be in on finish line for next Wednesday afternoon. Lenny, love you, brother. Thank you again, as I said, for what you do in the industry, but most of all, your friendship for almost over a decade, and thanks for being on this afternoon. Have a good time at Charlotte.
Much love coming back to you, Wesley. Take care. Thanks.
Lenny Baticki from PRNs at the track, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and the World of Outlaw World Finals fires up tonight with the pit party, and then, of course, racing on track on Thursday. And check out his radio show from the Performance Racing Network and Charlotte Motor Speedway, PRNs at the track, every week on GoPRN.com and also radio stations across the U.S. We are going to take one break. John Ruggiero, stand by. We got to go to commercial break to thank our sponsors one more time. And then John Ruggiero Jr. joins us next to close finish line.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models, and they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all four sides up immediately, then having it go around from side to side to car to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. And find out why the concept is true. To stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This is Finish Line.
Hey, welcome back. I'm your host, Wesley Outland. We are over our 2-hour scheduled limit. We had to stop at the top of the hour to end our radio coverage with a couple of stations, but we are back, and he is here, our final guest from 6 to 7. Thanks to Lenny Baticki and PRNs at the track. The audible is set. And yes, my buddy works at Hendrick Motorsports, and they got to get 2 cars ready for the NASCAR Cup Series Championship at Phoenix for, of course, Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. And he is also a dirt late model racer, an iRacer. Charles is all excited in my ear, my producer, because he's like, he races iRacing too. He does iRacing. John Ruggiero Jr., welcome to Finish Line, my friend.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Well, we've known each other for many, many years. I think of the days when you were a little bitty thing running around the pit area when you were going with the races with your dad, John Ruggiero Sr., when I was, I was announcing back then. Okay, I'm unveiling how old I am. John, now you're racing. You're running dirt late models, man, and you're doing pretty good. I think we got a new nickname for you thanks to Lenny Baticki, Flipper. You flipped on Friday night. You won on Saturday at Charlotte. Talk about this.
Yeah, man. Friday certainly didn't go as planned. You know, we intended on racing 2 cars this weekend or last weekend, and started out okay. We qualified on the pole in the 602 division, and then in the 604, I think we were like 5th, or I know we were in the top 10 in qualifying. I thought we were 5th, and then a few cars went out afterwards. And, it kind of bumped us back, but had high hopes going into the heat races, and, won our 602 heat race, which was awesome. And then the 604 heat race, we just rolled off into 1. And I want to say something broke, but I really don't think it did. I think the car just got free, and I can officially say I've spun out for, honestly, I think I've been racing late models for 10 years, and I've never spun out, and that was the first time. And got hit in the left rear tire and turned us over, ending our weekend in that car. But to come back Saturday and obviously, have a chance at, winning the 602 race, I had high hopes. And then for us to actually do it was really awesome, just because, I knew I wanted to get something done for my dad just after the heartbreak the night before. So to come back and win was awesome. And, hope I made up flip. Oh, man.
Do you attribute obviously what happened with you flipping Friday because of the weather conditions? Was the track not the best of conditions because of the weather? I know Lenny was saying they did the best they could to get the track worked in and make it as best as possible for whatever the outcome was for the race. Do you think that caused you to flip, or was it a mistake on your own part, or as you said, a part broke? And then talk about the drive of the rush by the crew to quickly get the car fixed to get you back on the racetrack to win on Saturday night.
I don't want to blame the racetrack because it was the same for everybody. So at the end of the day, it was a mistake on our part. We clearly had the car too free, and we'll take it on our own, take all the blame. So, the track was fine. I understand they had a lot of rain, and like I said, it was the same for everybody. So it sucked, but it is what it is. And then, thankfully I have 2 cars. So, that was the car that we won with Saturday was a completely different car. But my dad still, obviously, they had a lot of work on their hands trying to, get the 604 car back on the trailer, get it home. It's already stripped and, ready to be repaired. And, I just can't thank, really my dad and obviously my brothers and just my whole family for everything they do for me, and giving me the opportunity to race, 2 different cars and be competitive in both. So thankfully, like I said, I have 2 cars, so we were able to bring back the other one and obviously race on Saturday.
So, okay, let's go back to this. So you flipped the 604 Pro Late Model on Friday, correct? You won in the 602 Late Model Saturday.
Yep.
There you go. So, obviously, how badly damaged was the car from where it flipped? What, did the capsule, the roll cage, do its job? Was it just minor, basically sheet metal and having to rip the fenders off and rebuild it, or is the car trashed and you got to completely get a new one?
Hopefully, it did its job and kept me safe, along with all my safety equipment. My Hans device, my bell racing helmet, butler belt seat, everything in place. Job and did it well. The frame, unfortunately, bent a little bit, but I can assure you that it's not trash, and that it will be repaired and we'll be back racing. Well, my goal, I won't race next weekend like we intended before. It's just too soon.
Right.
But as of right now, we're still going to run. We're going to run the Turkey 100 Thanksgiving weekend. I plan on testing before then. It's not slowing us down. I'm going to race my 602, and then after I race my 602 this weekend, it'll be full force getting a 604 built, and obviously getting back to the.
John Ruggiero Jr. again joining us here on Finish Line. He's our final guest to wrap up the November 3rd show. It's amazing the guests we have on here and how fast the time flies by with all the great commentary and talent that we have asking the questions and talking about their endeavors for sure. John, your dad, I mentioned your father, and I announced his only fast track touring win when he won that night at Lawndale at Cleveland County Speedway, and I don't even think that track's open anymore. And then I see where you have gone in the ranks in your career. What can you attribute to what your dad did for you, taught you to make you be the race car driver that you are today as a junior?
Oh, man. If it wasn't for my old man, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. He's given me, all of his time, all of his money. But I'm very, very, very fortunate that my family opportunity I had because, we do everything ourselves. It's family owned, operated, and funded. So, they give me everything, and that's why I try to do the best I can on the track and off the track, and just keeping everything up myself, working, as hard as I can out in the shop to ensure that we're able to go each and every weekend and compete. And yeah, like I said, my father's obviously taught me everything I do know, and everything I continue to learn comes through him more or less, because he has a good understanding of what's going on, even whenever I feel like I'm lost in certain aspects of things. He does a really good job of keeping me on track, keeping my head on my shoulders, and making sure I don't get too bent out of shape.
John, a few more minutes with him and we'll wrap it up. You can see he's at the race shop. John, what do you do at Hendrick Motorsports, obviously, besides getting Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott's car ready to go for a championship? What's the vibe been like at the race shop with everybody? Is there, I want this guy to win, I want that guy to win? What do you do at Hendrick Motorsports?
I'm a fabricator, primarily everything in the front end. Duct work, brake ducts, some splitter stuff, and really, if there's anything in the front end, me and one other guy handle it. So it's been a lot of fun. We've had a great year, really great season as a company. And yeah, really the whole energy is let's build the best car we can reach team. And whatever happens. At the end of the day, I haven't favorites or anything. Primarily, everybody wants one of our cars to win it, just as you would expect. But whether it be Kyle or whether it be Chase, either way, I'll be very, very happy to see one of them get it done. And if they don't, no matter what happens, I can assure you one thing: we've had one heck of a season, and I'm just very fortunate to be a part of it.
Yeah. I just said that with Lenny Baticki. And by the way, he's at Hendrick Motorsports, and Hendrick Motorsports is like adjacent to Charlotte Motor Speedway and the dirt track and the big track and Z-Max Dragway, and where all the big stuff is going on this weekend for the World Finals at Speedway Boulevard as well. So I'm sure it's a buzz over there. And, of course, a little segue to this, John. What does it mean when you see these guys like Larson or Elliott or Bowman, winning the races, taking the checkered flag, and you know, man, I helped make that car. Wow, man, damn, that car looks good. What we did to that machine. Do you ever have those moments where it's just like it's really cool to see the products that you guys? Because I'll say this honestly. There are so many people that are in the spotlight in racing, especially in NASCAR, and there are so many people like yourselves that, John, do not get any credibility. You don't get any hardly mentions, you know, and it takes for a team to put together that program. And of course, Hendrick Motorsports is probably one of the biggest houses in NASCAR or motorsports in general. And, you know, it takes an effort of everybody working together for sure. Your thoughts on that when you see you guys do well on Sunday?
I mean, it's a cool feeling. See, like the problem is nobody really ever understand, you know, unless they've had the opportunity to work or build them cars. It's a weird feeling. It's kind of like you're watching and you get nervous and you get excited and you have all these emotions, and then whenever, you know, they do bring home a win, or you know, or like the milestone we had at Dover where we ran 1, 2, 3, 4, like you think about it, we just built 4 race cars and went to the racetrack and ran 1, 2, 3, 4 out of all the other 40 cars or 36 other cars. And it's just, you see stuff like that, and all you can do is just sit back and kind of, you know, you're proud because you know you had a hand in it. You know, there's 600, and I think we have like 650 employees at Hendrick. So, you know, there's me, and there's 649 others that put their hands on that car and make sure that, you know, they're ready to go to the track. So it's a cool feeling, not just for me personally, but whenever you look at all your teammates and, you know, people I get to work side by side with, you know, it's cool to see their work being just in victory lane or whatever the case may be. So it is cool. You know, obviously without a wheelman and good crew chiefs and everything and pit crew, it wouldn't be possible. But to know that we have a very small part in it is a cool feeling as well.
John, in addition to your working at Hendrick Motorsports and also racing dirt late models and winning in dirt late models, you're a connoisseur of iRacing. You like iRacing, man. Talk about, you know, and might I say, not only do you like iRacing, you win in iRacing. What is it like, you know, being able to do the virtual stuff and using it on the real racetrack when you race on the dirt or the pavement?
Yeah, so man, it was probably like 2 years ago I got involved in iRacing because I had a few buddies that told me, you know, hey, you got to get this game, you know, it's really cool, da-da-da. And I'll admit, for the first year or so, I just kind of took it. I took it as a game. I did. I mean, I was kind of like, whatever, you know, we'd tear stuff up and we would not take it very seriously. But then I started looking at all the money that you can make on the game, and I'm like, man, I need to start taking this serious. So I started spending a lot more time practicing, and, you know, getting where I thought I was competitive. And yeah, I mean, if people understood the money you could make racing each night, you know, there's pop-up money races here. There's points funds, you know, for an 8-week shootout deal. There's so much money, and not just money, but competition. Like, you know, the competition level in that iRacing deal is just as stout or more stout than a weekly show anywhere in the country. It is crazy how, you know, you look at lap times and everybody's within a tenth or so, and the racing's really tight. And, you know, I enjoy it because I'm a very competitive person. So I can get on there, you know, on a Monday night, and if, you know, I'm feeling eager, I can get on there and start cutting up laps and see if I can outrun some of these guys. But it's an awesome game, and if anybody doesn't have it and they've been thinking about getting it, I highly recommend, because there's no way you won't have a good time every time you turn on the computer.
Hey, John, first off, my producer's going bonkers in my ear right now. It's not a game. It's a simulator. Is the first thing he said for me to tell you. It's not a damn game. It's a simulation. Yeah, I got it. I totally get what you're saying.
I'll admit.
Definitely. So, yeah, well, you know, it is good, and I've seen your successes. I know you ran some Lucas Oil esports events that I announced before as well, and some other stuff too. So definitely, where it's dirt pavement, definitely you're enjoying the ride. So, John, what is the remainder of your schedule, bud? I know you talked about having to get the 604 Pro Late model fixed. You're going to try to go down, is it Swansboro to the turkey race at
Swainsboro,
Swansboro, Georgia?
Swainsboro.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are excited that Paul Purvis is bringing that race back on Thanksgiving weekend because the track's been closed for a couple of years. Obviously, Purvis's sister had cancer, health problems. She passed away, and I think he needed to just take some time off on, enjoy reality and be with family and loved ones and take a break. But I know a lot of people like yourself, John, are excited about Swainsboro opening up for the Turkey Derby.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend we got our 602 late model at Harris Speedway over in Rutherfordton County, North Carolina. I look forward to that race. It's 5,000 to win Thunder Series race. And then we'll take the following weekend off, and I'll continue to work on that 604 Pro Late model. And then I believe it's November 20th or 21st, the Blue Gray 100 at Cherokee. They're running 602 late models on the schedule as well, so I'll race that. And then the following week would be the Turkey 100 with the 604 late model. And then the weekend after that, we go to Florida to go to Alltech Raceway and run our 602 late model again for 5,000. And then as far as I know, that's the remainder of our schedule. To be completely honest with you, we were just going to completely strip apart the 604 and build it back for next year. But my dad told me that Turkey 100 is a race he does not want to miss. And, we're going to do everything we can to get it back together and get down there to support, Paul and all them guys. I'm just thankful to see they open the track back up, and I can't wait to get down there.
Yeah, I carry those same sentiments as well, John, for sure, man. That's a really nice place. Well, listen, I know you're at Hendrick Motorsports. I know you only have like a 1 hour lunch or a certain break. Thank you to Mr. Rick Hendrick and Jeff Gordon for letting you be able to sit in your car and take a break and be able to join us and talk racing during your lunch hour, buddy. And before I do let you go, congratulations to you, and thank your sponsors on that 44 car.
I can't thank my mom, my dad, my brothers, just my whole family enough for everything they do for me. And like I said, give me the opportunity to go race each week. I want to thank Jimmy Wilson. It's somebody I met this year, believe it or not, just out of the blue. He's been helping me out a little bit with tires and fuel, and I really can't thank him enough. And then I just want to thank everybody that comes out each and every week and supports us. Whenever I look out in the stands and I see people wearing my T-shirts or just people cheering me on or booing me, it doesn't matter. Either way, when I see people in the stands, I can't thank y'all enough, because without you guys, none of this would be possible as well. So, it's a really awesome deal to get to go race each week, and I hope I can ride this train out for quite a while.
I used to butcher your last name. People butcher my last name. Outlander, Outlaw, Outlandish, Outmandingo. Alan Dietz called me one time on the bull ring. John Regario. I used to butcher your dad's name. And I'm so glad now I got it. John Regario Jr. Finally, after years and years, I finally got it right. So definitely, man. Shut up, Charles. It's my producer in my ear. He's killing me. So, but John Ruggiero, congratulations to you. He said Cheerio, John Cheerio. No, it's John Ruggiero Jr.
I get that a lot. I do. I get that one quite often.
You're a big Italian fan, aren't you? You like sausages and Italian food, lasagna, pastas, don't you?
Oh, yeah, bud. Oh, yeah. That's all my mom makes.
That's right, man. There you go, for sure. It's like an Italian racing mafia Sopranos, if you will. John, thank you so much, buddy, for being on Finish Line. And take care, my friend. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me. See you guys.
Not a problem, buddy. Not a problem. There you go. That's Charles, you're killing me. You're killing me. Oh, Pip Cheerio, and that's Ruggiero. You see, you get the segue? Poet didn't know it. Oh, let's get the hell out of here. It's been a good show. Cue up the music before they cut the lights off on me and get in the studio. Oh, my goodness. When it's live, look, I told people this. When it's live, it's live. There's nothing you can do with it. You either just go, oh, darn, and be embarrassed, or you do like I do, and you laugh about it, and you roll with the punches, and you just put on a smile and make the best of it. Hey, awesome guests. We hope you've enjoyed it. All-American 400 winners, Matthew Craig in the Super Late Models, Pro Late Models, Cole Williams, Tom Gosser in the Boers Compact Touring Series, Darren Hackett, North-South Shootout, Caraway Speedway, North-South Shootout for all the information. this weekend. World of Outlaw World Finals. Lenny Batiki talking about that. And, of course, the winners at Charlotte in the World Short Track Championship, Dylan Brown, John Ruggiero Jr. NASCAR, the championship for at Phoenix, the World Finals at Charlotte, and anything else I can think of. As though winter months are upon us, closing in. There's still big money racing across the world, and we got it for you every week on Finish Line. For Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, the guy that's in my ear, yeah, I hope you hear that. For Rocket Media and LSRTV Productions, thank you to iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, Community Radio Network. Archives will be up in a minute. As I told Lenny in closing, on the road to life, there's always a finish line. Whether it's curvy or a straight line, make yours a great one. Always follow your dreams. Be good to one another. God bless you all. Thank you for listening, and we will do it again next Wednesday right here on Finish Line. Oh, and thanks to sponsors that make it happen, like Dirt Car Lift, CrateInsider.com, and MPM Marketing. I'm Wesley Outland. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
If you have not ordered at DirtCarLift.com in the motorsports racing world, you are absolutely way behind. But if you are an existing customer of the Dirt Car Lift product, you already know about why they use the concept of stop jacking and start lifting. DirtCarLift.com helps make things very easier in the pit area. Whether you need to change a flat tire, make a shock or spring adjustment, DirtCarLift.com can get all four sides up immediately, then having to go around from side to side to car to car. By the way, they have a special package and price for existing customers with a few changes to make your life a little easier. Give them a call at DirtCarLift.com today. Call them up again at 770-898-3907. 770-898-3907. And find out why the concept is true. To stop jacking and start lifting with DirtCarLift.com at the races today.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.